Yeah. Hey man, if you can do the splits and hit someone in the gonads, that's good enough.
Right in the gooch.
I never understood the attack from Johnny Cage. That seems like a painful one for you, not for the opponent.
I had a coworker that could do the splits and go gooch to pavement.
Yeah, but could you drop on it like he does? Like, he doesn't, slowly...
My coworker was able to.
Because, let me tell you, you have some family jewels there that are going to get cracked.
You can train one skill. What train do you train of the train? What skill do you train? That one. I'll take that one.
What?
Yeah, English.
Yeah, no, I had it.
Do you speak it?
No.
Okay.
He speaks Canadian.
I'm having a stroke from what you just said.
I speak Tirana.
You speak lies.
That's incorrect. I speak VTuber.
Low life, it is me.
I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees.
So, Kat, are you excited to meet Boblin the Hobgoblin?
He confessed to me in DMs that it was actually a thing. I'm not joking.
No, there's Boblin the Goblin and Boblin the Hobgoblin. Well, he was an Eberron.
Did he leave?
I don't know.
Did he leave? Okay. How to find Boblin the Goblin? Oh, we can't be trusted with Wish. That would just...
Be fair, the more ridiculous their quest with Wish is, the more chances it fails, so...
Well, they just want to meet Boblin the Goblin so that he can give Balra the 2 scrolls of True Polymorph.
So it's basically buy one, get one free for True Polymorph.
By the time you have access to Wish, you have access to True Polymorph.
Well, I'm assuming you were going to give him, a ring of, Wish, with charges. Campaigns at the level at that point are just so hard to run. Once you have ninth level spells.
Once you get to that level of bullshittery, it's mostly narrative until gods start punching you in the face.
That's basically it. It's like, okay, well, for your next quest, you're gonna have to go kill God, like Tiamat, or fucking...
Yeah. In a world where God is a Balra Nars.
There's a reason why Baldur's Gate capped your ass at level 12. Yes.
That makes sense. That makes
because
sense.
7th and higher level spells literally start breaking the game and they can't fucking code them.
Mm-hmm. You can't give someone Wish. A game like that.
For example, Polymorph in Baldur's Gate doesn't even do what it's supposed to do. It just transforms them into a sheep.
That's so silly. Sure.
What?
You'd have to limit it to a very, very selective things.
I think Mistro is wrong. I don't think anyone deserves magic. And is overpowered? How's that going for animes so far?
I'm not gonna lie, it would be kind of funny to just do literally that, and then just your OP thing is just some bullshit that you talk to the DM about at the beginning. Not necessarily for what we do, but just in general.
Trashy Sky manga out there where it's like the main character's ability is being able to see the stat screens of everyone else. He cannot see his own.
It's kind of cool, actually.
And aside from his immaculate ability to.
Hello. How's it going, everyone? Good evening. Have I seen the GTA 6 trailer? No. Because I'm probably the only person in the internet who doesn't give a fuck. Like, to make this clear, it's not that I hate GTA or anything like that. I just think everybody is like way overblowing it at the moment. Like, everyone is obsessed with it. And I'm like, guys, it's like it might not even come out next year. I'm sorry. Like, there's no point in getting like super hype until it's a thing. I've never played a GTA game. Understandable, since like there hasn't been a GTA game in like a decade. Trailer said 2025 as well. I think that's gonna make me laugh if it did. I mean, we can watch it. How long is the trailer? Like, I'm not opposed to it. I just find it really funny because, like, I have not given a crap. Nice art. Thank you, Elone. Hello, Ern. Hello, Bahamut. How's it going? What was I doing? Oh, right. Yeah, I gotta get the tweet out. Scratch, thank you for the resub. H23 and Robo, thank you guys for the resubs as well. Hope you guys are doing good today. We were also watching Scott Pilgrim before stream, which I have never seen the original live action of. So people are like, I like how GTA 7 is trending. People are like screaming at me that like there's no way you couldn't have watched. Okay. Gotta get the sauce for last stream. Was all right, chat. The tweet is live. Go give it some love. Philly phone opening wrong app. That's all good. Thank you for the resub, Earn. All right, let's get this party started. There you go. Enjoy. There's today's artwork. Get it to you guys on the YouTube side of things. Sorry to find my YouTube tab. There it was. 90% scripted scenes. People should know by it now. Better than judge games based off these. Yeah, like, I don't know. Like I said, the whole internet's been on fire being like, oh my god, GTA trailer. I can't wait for it, you know, next week. I can't wait for it, like, 6 days from now. I can't wait for it 5 days from now. Like, I'm like, guys, it's gonna come out, and it's just gonna be a teaser, and that's it. Like, you're not gonna get anything for a long time. I don't know. Like, and I love GTA. I played it profusely as a kid. Oh, hold on. Let me make sure my phone is in Do Not Disturb. And it is. Okay, there we go. Speaking of which, chat. I have a new phone. I have a iPhone 15. So I got to get that turned on. I did not have the time to do it before stream. But yes. Got a new phone coming. Hello. Thank you for the 37. Hope you're doing good. How is it? I don't know. I've charged it, but I haven't gotten to like port everything over, which I'm going to be able to do the cloning process, get everything on both phones, which is actually really good because I hadn't like mentioned anything. But for those of you guys that don't know, I'm on an office plan basically at our firm because our firm basically pays for our phones. And my dad was like, man, we've had our phones for like 3-4 years now. He was complaining his was falling apart, which I always treat mine very well, naturally, because of how much value it has. So I hadn't like, really damaged it too much. But even in the last like 6 months, my case is beginning to chip. In fact, literally just the other day, I lost like the bottom bridge of the case there near where the charger is. So I actually lost a chunk of the case. And then like earlier this year, I cracked the screen protector, at least like a hairline fracture going across it. But otherwise, it's been perfectly fine, like for all these years that I've been having it. So, I'm going to keep this, and this helps resolve one of the issues of becoming a proper VTuber later, because this way I will have the nice like camera basically for this. So essentially I'll have 2 phones, one of which I can play FGO, the other of which I could use for VTubing, which helps alleviate the need to have that whole problem basically of like switching back and forth, which was something I was concerned with because y'all know FGO's transfer like system just sucks, and it's very easy to mess up, very easy to brick your account. And so it's one of those deals where it's like obviously I'm confident that I could pull it off routinely once I got into a rhythm, but it's not something I wanted to have to do all the time. So it is what it is. I did the impossible last night. 12 tickets, only got Assassin Kama. Nice. Yeah, where is this GTA trailer? Someone find me a link, and we will watch it. Also, for those of you guys that didn't see, we did have the raids over the weekend on JP. They lasted about 24 hours, so it was pretty good. Thank you, Avalon. I can't wait to get DMCA'd by YouTube over this. Okay. Kill song request here real quick. Change that shit at least to 1080p. No point in doing it higher than that because chat streams in 1080p.
Lucia, do you know why you're here? Bad luck, I guess.
This is Miami again? Yep.
She said she cared about me. She tried to make my world.
I gotta admit, it looks really nice.
Yeah, we were desperate then
That looks really nice.
to have each other to hold, but love is a long, long road. Yeah, love is a long, long
Well, look who's back. The only way we're gonna get through this is by sticking together, being a team. Trust?
Trust.
Yeah, so it's definitely what I heard. Where you basically have the whole Bonnie and Clyde aspect going on. And, I did want to like comment on this because I find it really interesting that they've gone back to essentially Vice City. It's Vice City was their most like successful game at the time. Like 3 was a big game, but Vice City is where it really blew up and became a lot more like I guess almost like pop culture references, right? Like, so it is what it is. It looks terrible. I don't think it looks terrible. I'm not sure I'm wild about the main character's design, but I think like the actual characters themselves look very good. I think the world itself looks very photorealistic. Now, the thing about that is, and I do agree with what someone was saying before, keep in mind, guys, these are trailers, so they're cut scenes a lot of the time. Like, they are all scripted stuff. Everything is going to look good here. you didn't see any real actual gameplay in that regard, and so I do wonder about that, how it will actually all flow together and that sort of stuff. But definitely interesting. Also, I find it really hilarious that she's in prison there, clearly. But yeah, so I'm not surprised they returned to this setting. Like, Miami is a very, like, picturesque setting to go to. It gives them kind of everything they want. And it's not going to be Miami. It's going to be fake Miami, right? Like, I guarantee it. So, but yeah, you know it is because they got the airboats, they got the flamingos there, and of course, you can't have a single shot of a swamp in Florida without multiple gators. So I already find that pretty hilarious and memey. They show the beach here. Admittedly, mostly realistic, other than like most of the people are attractive looking. And if you've ever been to a beach, no. No, the vast majority of people are not attractive looking. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a sign right there. Yeah, okay, so it's Kelly County. 404 and 97. Dockyard downtown. Yeah, so it looks like it's real signs, but it's not an actual location. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we definitely have cars like this. And then the club. This is definitely way more like busy than any of the prior like nightclubs than any of the stuff. Well, I say nightclubs, this is a strip club. But like, if you guys have ever been in any of them in the prior Grand Theft Auto games, they were not nearly this like involved with people in here. But like I said, I get this strange feeling that like this crap is going to be like, oh, it's that one cutscene, and then you actually go on the floor and there's like, you know, maybe the girl here, maybe the girl twerking, maybe this right here, and like that's it or some crap. Like, so I'll be curious to see if it's actually going to be this busy and stuff. Yeah, definitely capturing the feel of Miami. And it looks like you're also going to get the keys, because that's kind of what's going on here. You've got the super long bridges out to the like, and they may be trying to play the whole oh god, what's the term? God, I can't think of it right now. Basically the island, the barrier islands off the coast of Florida there. But to me this looks like they're doing the whole like 7 Mile bridge thing and everything. Key West, yeah. And honestly, I'm gonna say this does look like they've taken some aspects from like Cyberpunk in that regard. So this is the Dad Bod Squad. Official poach. And he's just hauling a gator out of a pool. Like that's my only have a Vice day. Yeah, so there you go. It definitely references to their prior game. But like there's too many gators. Too many. Like it's now overused. I've already seen like 4 gators as of this point in the trailer, and you're like halfway through it. I like this. Planet Leonida, man. Usually gotta hit the strip club to see Jiggle like that, for real. Do people water their lawns like this? No, not normally. I'm not gonna say you wouldn't see this, though. Like, there are some strange, like, motherfuckers, okay? It's definitely a thing. As for this, yes. 100% can confirm. Muddin', baby. And you can even see it. It says Thrillbilly Mud Club. Yeah, 100% welcome to Florida. There is a location near me that is like infamous for this. So I love how Cad feels at home with the trail. This will make me want to play it if it's actually in a Florida setting. We didn't know where it was going to be, but obviously I'd say like from the teaser stuff, the hints were there. Lucha Libre fan, neighborhood watch, don't play around in Hamlet. Yeah, she got 2 hammers. Honestly, though, I wouldn't be afraid of that in the slightest. Yeah, I'd be more afraid if she had a gun. So wait, what did he get thrown off of? This is just at a party. He did a keg dive and destroyed it. It cures emotions. Thanks to Pan. Oh, yeah, it's funny. But yeah, you can see they're going for the whole Bonnie and Clyde thing. Okay, it's straight up in Spanish, but you can see it's Megamundo News, which is like making fun of Telemundo. So yeah, 100%. Like there are Spanish channels here in Florida because a good chunk of our population speaks Spanish. And actually, hold on. So this is actually pretty damn close to like the Florida seal, and I find that really hilarious. They did a good job with that. So I also find this funny because it's like people popping wheelies and stuff on their bike, and then like you see them driving through this like intersection, and it's like captured from helicopter cam, and I'm like, they hadn't broken the law in the first shot, but now apparently there's a helicopter on scene in the second shot. High rollers lifestyle. Okay, so they're in a liquor store here. And, like, again, you know, I know it's a cutscene, but it still looks really good even for a cutscene. Like, they're getting to the point that these cutscenes are beginning to look almost as good as Hollywood, which is bad. Okay? Like, just saying. Can't wait for Cad to find his house in GTA 5. Like I said, I'm not, like, gonna get super excited or anticipatory to anything like this, not until this game is much closer. You gotta let me know when there's an actual release date, because as far as I'm concerned, that right there, chat, stop talking about it. Okay? Like, it's cool. I like the trailer. I will look forward to this game. But not until 2025. Like, there is no point getting your hopes up, building the hype, and going crazy for the next year when the game is not going to be coming out in that year, right? Like, so it is what it is. But yeah, the fact that says coming 2025, nah, I ain't gotta care about this until 2025. It's Rockstar. Yeah, that's the other thing, is it could get delayed, right? So, like I said, definitely cool, definitely excited for it, but we got to get a lot closer. Also, you guys should definitely check out this guy and watch him. I heard he's great. Okay. Sus, yes. We're gonna talk about it next December, right? Who's that Khadroth guy? I don't know. I just found it really funny that that it recommends me my own stream. Will this be a female protagonist? It's a Bonnie and Clyde type game, so I'm gonna bet it's both, right? Like, if you think about that, it makes so much sense for them to do it that way, because then they just have a male and a female character, and it's probably going to be a case of like, do you guys remember like some of the other Grand Theft Auto games, you eventually like switch characters or like could like fill in different roles and stuff like that? So I won't be surprised to watch it switch perspective on you, because I feel like that's something that they do. They swapped a lot in 5, yeah. And honestly, that's one of the weak parts of 5 for me. Like, I think I would have liked 5 better if it just stuck with one character or two characters, but the fact that it switched around so much got kind of annoying. I don't like stories that switch too much. Someone called the game Florida Abridged, and I cannot love that, or I cannot but love that. Yeah, like I said, I definitely, as a Florida man, I am absolutely qualified to speak on this. I don't live in South Florida, but I have been to South Florida many times. My sister lives down in South Florida, so like every single year I go down there to visit and stuff like that. So I have definitely seen all of that stuff. And yeah, they absolutely captured the essence of Florida. Like it's great. Giving a seal of approval, yeah. I mean, there's definitely some stuff where, like I said, it's a little bit too overkill. Like you're not gonna see so many attractive people on the beach. You're gonna definitely see some people where you're like, man, I went to the beach expecting to see some hot ladies, some hot guys or something like that, and then you're like, oh man, I wish I hadn't seen that, right? Like, there's definitely those. But outside of that, P. Leor, thank you for the follow. You're a Florida man, everyone gets to be Florida man. Trying to get jumped by a gator. Well, like I said, they already had used too many gators halfway through that. It's like, what the heck? Why are there so many? Also, chat, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cad gonna hit 165 before the lotto on JP. Feels bad. Don't worry, there'll be more. Yeah. Lots of old dudes in Speedos, yeah. No, like I said, that's not a common thing, but will you see it? Yes, yes. Like, have I seen it personally? No. Have I seen pictures of it? Yes. Yeah, like, it is a sad and unfortunate thing that people will be like that. Hottest thing on the beach is the sand. No, you can occasionally see someone. Like chat, you're gonna see, like, in every 9 out of 10 people, like, there's maybe one that's, like, attractive, okay? But the problem is the other 9. The other 9 are like, oh my god, please, why? Why did you wear, like, a thong? And you're like, no one wanted to see that. That should be some sort of war crime. And then on the others, it's like, oh, hey, wow, that person's actually really attractive. But yeah, it's definitely one of those. Let's say maybe 2, maybe 3 out of 10. Yeah. But yeah, that's true. If you guys start working on your PC now, it'll be just in time to be out of date by the time this comes out. So you should definitely start getting your new computer ready now so that it can already become defunct for the new parameters that you would need to run the game. Whoops, hold on. Let me back out here. I don't want to sit here and do all of my my stuff. I want to show chat JP and where it's at. Although, let me actually switch over to NA to make sure it's not capped out either. Comfy check. Thank you, Pion. Dad, you live in a dangerous state? Yep. Don't deny that. Also, Chad, I do have a surprise for you today. Let me go double check, because there is a... It's just going to keep doing this, isn't it? Yeah, I knew it was going to... Oh, there it is. It already came out. It came out a while ago. Here you go, chat. Is it VTuber Cat? No. Kaito finally finished it. Took Kaito a long time, but he finally finished it. So, do me a favor, chat. Go give Kaito some love. Enhance? Oh, I can definitely enhance. He reduced the quality of this. I have the original. I have the original, chat. But yeah, you guys have known for a while Kaito's been working on this. I've been asking for a more robust character sheet for this for a while. It's not that, like, my original character sheet was bad per se. It's that the artist that originally drew Aurelia, not only is she basically, I as far as I can tell, she's retired. I have not talked to her in a while. But she basically was always more on the animation side of things, never really on doing, like, the word I'm looking for here, like, more like artistic renditions of things. She wanted to do stuff. Really a character reference? Yes. Yeah. And so, like, she kind of cobbled together a reference sheet for the original thing for me, and that worked for years. But one, she had a very specific style. Two, she did it in a way that, while it worked, it didn't, cover a lot of stuff. Like, the original art piece had, like, these 3 panels. That's it. That's like all it had. And then it kind of had, like, that. Okay? And so what I asked Kaito to add was basically, how does the leotard work? How does, she look in it? Okay? and then essentially, obviously, some like facial expressions and stuff, so you can see how she looks in different aspects. And then we also added a side profile. Kind of went a little big on this. I'm okay with it. We added the crown because, you know, a lot of artists had been getting confused as to how the crown worked. They did not really recognize, like, her whole, like, way that it worked with her hair and everything. Particularly the sword as well. Kaido really spruced up the sword. The sword changed designs. This is Aurelia 2.0 in that regard. And if you guys will notice too from the original designs of like the armor and stuff, Kaido did a magnificent job with the armor. Like, especially compared to how it was in the original. And like, the original artist also told me, like, I'm not good at weapons and armor, right? So I understood. Like, it was just one of those things, and it was like, listen, you were helping me even by doing that. So, but yeah, so like, eventually she basically called it quits, and I'd been needing to get this done. So this is a project Kaido's been working on for over a year now at this point. He definitely could have finished it faster than that. Like, definitely. But Kaido's gone through some shit in his life. So it was one of those deals where I was like, listen, I couldn't push him too much, right? Like, I would constantly like remind him of it, but Kaido had to make ends meet, and he basically lives paycheck to paycheck. So it was one of those deals where it was like, we just kind of worked on this slowly over time. My reaction is perfect. Yeah, thank you guys. So again, this is one that I've been waiting on for a long time, and I'm happy to finally have it. We basically have the character reference sheet 2.0. It's got all the color swatches so that you guys have easy access to whatever her color schemes are. And again, it should make it a lot easier for artists to understand how the various aspects of her work. Again, you get the side profile so you can see that. You can see the way the ponytail works. That was another problem and question I got from a lot of artists was, you know, is the ponytail a side ponytail? Because the way the original artist did it, it looked sort of like a side ponytail. And I could tell it wasn't, but I think there was enough, well, maybe, like, type of second guessing there that artists kind of had to reach out and ask me from time to time. I never saw anyone actually do a side ponytail, but it was enough that it was like, yeah, I better make sure in the rendition that we redo this. Also, yet another one was the brooch. So many people had asked, like, wait, how does that actually work? And honestly, Kaido just added this today. This was the last thing that we put on, because both of us were like, oh yeah, it's done, right? And I was like, yeah, I think it's done. And then we looked at it, I was like, wait. I had to get him to add that. That's nice, more clarity, yeah. And like I said, the Twitter version is not the full definition. It gets a lot bigger than this. It's like a 10,000 pixel piece or something like that, he told me. So it's definitely good. And he did an absolutely fantastic job. And that was also something that, like, was kind of a goal for me in this. Kaido has a fantastic, very polished art style. He's been very nice to me. He always has gone all out whenever he draws Aurelia. You guys know that from like his summer art piece and stuff like that he did for me. I'm afraid to click on his profile here on screen, so give me 1 second and let me see if I can find it for you real quick. Because I don't want to like stumble into something. Where is it? He switched it. He used to have it as his profile. I don't blame him though. He's had it for his profile for like over a year. Yeah, this right here, chat. So like, this was his piece that won the art contest last year, and like, I mean, the compliment that I paid Kaido is he probably drew like the just nicest, cleanest face that anyone had drawn for her. And that's kind of what I told him, like, going forward with this, is that's what I wanted, right? Like, I wanted something that was high quality, so that I don't care if an artist doing the concept art or using the concept art. I don't care if the artist isn't to the skill level. I don't care if they don't draw it to this level. But I wanted to establish a standard of like, hey, look, this is going to be where I expect attention to detail. I expect you to give your best effort. Don't just phone it in and be like, yeah, you know, I don't care. I'm just going to get on with this and move on to the next commission. I basically wanted a very polished reference sheet to let the artist know that, like, whoever I'm commissioning, like, please, you know, try, right? That slap of expectation, yeah. Like I said, if they're not capable of doing it to this level, that does not bother me. I understand every artist is different. Is Skadi analysis the surprise? No, this is the surprise. And like I said, it's not much of a surprise. You guys knew this was coming for like over a year now. But it is finally complete. And I think all chat has seen is like this. This is all you guys have seen get worked on. But the rest of this was all like getting done on the side. Actually, I think you guys got to see this the other day. This is one of the last things that he did. Realistically, all of the time got spent on this. All of it. All of it, chat. He did the rest of this in like 2 weeks' time. Not even. Like, on the ass? Okay. No joke. So, Kaido is a boob man. No joke, it took Kaido a long time on the ass. And not on, like, the shape of the ass, okay? Like, on the, how do the plates of armor work on the hips and in the ass area? I think we went back and forth over this over, like, 3 months. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm pretty sure there was a point where Kaido was fed up with my shit. So, like, because there was just one thing that I was, like, refusing to let go, and I wanted it to be, like, really, like, the way I wanted it, right? I wanted it to make sense. I didn't want it to be, like, anything crazy, but, like, he got it finally. Dad had to give Kaido a new fetish to get this done. It's funny because I actually sent Kaido like images on how to draw an ass and stuff. Not that he didn't know. He knew. It was more just debates as to exactly how the armor should look from behind and on the hips. That was easily the hardest part by far, and it just was. Like, armor is not an easy thing. There's a reason that a lot of artists don't like doing it. Like, period. A lot of artists will refuse to draw anything metallic. And this is equal parts, I think, because of reflective surfaces, but also because it is difficult on artists a lot of the time to draw, like, geometric shapes, right? Like, to make it perfect looking. Artists thrive in style and curvature, not so much in draw straight line, right? Like, and I'm not going to say that artists can't. I've actually had this conversation with Faye before. Like, artists can draw a straight line. It's make everything a straight line, make everything look good, and it becomes difficult, right? Like, and I understand, like, hard metallic surfaces are difficult for a lot of artists to do. Some artists find it easy, and those are the artists that I have to try and find. But some artists don't, right? Someone's asking, does the lightsaber change color? Nope. Nope. It does light up, though. Character artists tend to be more into organics, yes. Yeah, and I think it's obvious as to why. I think artists spend all of their time, like, drawing humans and drawing characters, like learning how to draw anatomy and faces and hair. That's why it's so difficult on them, right? Like, then you have to draw something inorganic, and it's, how do you draw the most anime microwave you've ever seen? I don't know, right? Like, they've probably never had to draw something like that. So it becomes a really like weird thing whenever you include something. Aurelia is a microwave, got it? Well, she definitely heats me up. Anyways, I got really good at drawing cars and planes. Yeah, and I think it's like it's all what you do. An artist that specializes in that sort of thing is fine. But like the artists that are going to be the best at drawing Aurelia most of the time are going to end up being artists that are good with like armor, right? Like they're used to drawing medieval or fantasy like stuff. If you've not had to draw that, a lot of artists will have a problem with it. So. Mech artists are masochists, from what I understand. Yes. I showed Faye an artist one time, and I struggle to remember the name. Faye might be able to remember it, but it's a Korean guy that he drew Saber, Nero, I think Lancer Alter and Lancer all in like a mechanized style. And it's like it's phenomenal if you actually look at it, like how they managed to do it. Like just really, really good. Let me see if I can see it. The person who is mostly fetishism stuff? Yes. Yeah, that person. I know the guy. You probably do because they used to draw Fate artwork. I'm gonna have to be very careful with this one as well. Oh, that's a good piece. I'll have to use that for stream. Name I got none, but yes, I remember. I know, and I do too. What I do with it. I'm looking through the archives to see if I still have the link. The problem is I think they took all their art down, so I think my links are bad. Denver is your best shot. Yeah, there we go. Mecha Masume tag. The chat like this, okay? Like, it's pretty amazing, right? They did a Mecha Masume version of a lot of Fate characters. And like I said, it's just a really, really like amazing design aesthetic. But yeah, it's so much extra work that you have to do in order to do something like this. And it's just not actually possible for a lot of artists. Biss, thank you for the 39. It does look good, yeah. And they did others. Let me see. It's Son Woo Young. Yeah, here you go. Here's their Artoria. Like I said, so like it looks phenomenal the amount of like effort that they put into this. Sauce CAD, please. I can only give you the Danburu because they took it down. But there. And like I said, be careful. They do NSFW work. Just is what it is. Supposed to be a female protagonist. You talking about well, not that. You talking about this? Yeah, this is Aurelia. This is my OC, and she's who you guys see at the bottom of stream. Basically, like, all the time, just sitting there reacting. She's the 3D model there. Looks like a perfect grade that has been done up with decals. Right? Like, and it's wild to me because that style was so good, and then they just switched to making SFW art. And, like, I'm not going to say it hasn't worked out for them. I think they became much more popular, but I think their old stuff was so much better than their new stuff. So, it is what it is. Money, yeah. It's usually money. But yeah, so anyways, like I said, Kaito worked on this for a long time. He did a fantastic job. And I am ecstatic. So, like I said, do me the favor, chat. Go give Kaito some love on this. Try to help that man out as much as you can. I appreciate it if you do. But let's switch back. And I will post that into Aurelia art as well. That's going to be replacing the old concept art. I will keep the old concept art in case anyone wants it to reference or prefers the style of it. But the newer design is the new one. Aurelia has some generous tracts of land. Aye, vast tracts of land. I want to make that, right? Yeah, and they have that. They have, like I said, there's a Nero version. There's a, which I don't think they ever posted the Nero version. I remember watching them make the Nero version on Twitch, because I used to watch them on Twitch when they streamed. Is the canon concept art? Yes, precisely. Chat, still no news, by the way. So I'm going to assume the 8th now at this point, because usually they like to make an announcement 3 days out. If they haven't announced for today, I'm going to assume the event doesn't start until Friday. And I assume you will get an announcement tomorrow. If we don't get an announcement tomorrow, I don't know what they're doing. So that's going to be scary. 6 raids, an interesting story, ended exactly at the 24-hour mark. Yeah. Meaning the bots killed it? Yep. And, you know, I had people insisting that that wasn't the case, and I'm like, no, I think it is. I think it's still the bots. Because it pretty much went, like, as is. But granted, there's also the early raids where people may have just done them and tapped out, so it really just depends. Why did I use the Mystic code there? Whatever. I was kind of saying the 8th, but I forgot if that was set on stream or not. I had been thinking the 7th for a while, just because that's when that stuff did. Artist also did Mechalar terrain. It looks really nice. Yeah. Bless you. Thank you. Yeah, that artist is an artist that lives in my subconscious for, like, the sheer level of talent that an artist can get to, and then, like, give it all up. Right? Like not continue that style and draw on a completely different style from there on out. I was hopeful in one of the 4th and 5th to maybe have a chance of extended lotto, but nah. Yeah, I think there's 0 chance you get an extended lotto now. I also said, like, I'm disappointed in them for not doing it earlier, only because I would have thought that it would have made more sense for them to run it early to give more time on the clear aid campaign, because you have a 4th version of that campaign that's supposed to come out after the lotto. There were raids on an A, yeah. 6-1 was a pain to 1 turn, yeah. Well, and I think they made a mistake. They didn't make the 6th raid drop all mats. That's their biggest problem. So, like, the 6th raid was, I think, dominant gold, and didn't even drop that much points. So it's kind of like, whatever. I ended up selling for 2 to 3 turn. At first I was doing a bunch of weird stuff, and then I, like, totally forgot that double X worked, and I just ran double X the whole time. Like, I was doing it some on stream Saturday. But by the time I went live on Saturday, I'd already farmed out, like, so much. You linked the nearer one? Oh, there you go. Yeah, tab toe is what they're known as. Thank you. The post is from a suspended account. There you go, Bob. Final one wasn't as good as some of them in the second one. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. I got to do a couple runs of the final raid that was available in the second set, which was the assassin one. And unfortunately, like, you pretty much could only use gray on that. That was the issue at play, because you needed to invuln Pierce on an assassin. So it was just kind of bleh. I luckily have MP2 Ptolemy, and that worked well for the final one. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this, like, if you were lucky enough to have rolled Ptolemy, you were probably okay. If you had a specific variant of certain units, like, grailed to a certain level, you were okay. Everyone else pretty much could not one-turn that shit. And that's what I find hilarious. I don't think that's good design on their part. I have to give them a little bit of crap for that. I understand they're trying to justify it in a lot of cases, but they made it so hard. And, like, here was the two dick moves that JP pulled. One, Kagetora got an upgrade, a charge upgrade, after the raid. Immediately after. Like, it's like the next thing that they did. Two, they basically ended up, oh wait, crap, what was my other point there? I just completely mind blanked. What was the other dick thing that they did? Oh, yeah, the welfare. They didn't end up giving us the copies of the welfare early, so you basically couldn't do it. I saw some people trying to formulate a comp with NP2 of the welfare, but even that was just not enough and didn't actually really work. So it's kind of weird to me that they did that. 90++ in that event, Napoleon looked me thrice on JP, and he was able to 3-turn that for me. Yeah, the final raid. I don't know what you're talking about, 90++, but because I haven't touched the 90++ on JP yet. I forgot to try Kuro. I didn't remember to either, but she would have actually potentially worked. Really, the big dick move there was the defense. If they didn't have the defense, a lot of other units would have worked. But without that, because there was no damage CE, and then you had defense on top of it that the boss spammed that was fairly hefty, it was just kind of like a big, gigantic middle finger. No damage C. Just a point C. Just used Squirtoria Draco easy. So, no, because you needed NP5 of both. And as, you know, again, I'm going to give them crap for that. Draco has not had a rerun. It's been almost an entire year. There's been no other Draco banner. And they specifically removed Draco from the GSSR earlier in the year so that you couldn't get her off of that. So, I have to give them a little bit of shit for that. Cuckoo Go Bear, okay. I haven't checked it yet. I did NP2 Draco and Kagetora that one. Yeah, NP1 didn't quite work. Like, I had an NP5 level, like, 102 Castoria Berserker, but, like, she did okay. She couldn't one-tap. But the real problem that we had was, like, apparently Draco really shredded him, but Draco just has not had banners. So, like, that is, like, further cementing me that when Draco rolls around on an A, I'm NP5ing her instantly and just not looking back. Because she's already been so useful in, like, 3 or 4 different events. I think making her strong was a mistake. Okay, so I love that you said that, Strom, because people told me I was crazy when Draco came out and I made the video about Draco being too strong. And people are like, no, Cad, she's not that busted. And I'm like, you have Gil, but effective against all classes and single target. What do you mean it's not too strong? Who's more useful between Castoria Berserker and Draco? I think it depends on the scenario. Castoria Berserker is always going to be useful unless you're facing a foreigner. Draco does really want it to be a servant, but outside of that, you can still use her. I had to Castoria NP first to trigger the 300% overcharge. Yeah. She's an upgraded Vlad Galta. Also, what level is your NP one, Arzus? Like, is it a 120? Not that you should be able to get to 120 with an NP1, so I don't know why I asked. No, I was about to put the Mystic Code on. The 100, okay. I was gonna say, I think mine's level 100 as well. So I probably just didn't try with the NP. Basically Tyra's NP, but arts. Oh, Kagetora's? I have used her in the fight that, like, you were forced to use her. I definitely noticed that her damage was strong, but that's a bonus unit in an event, right? From there, I noticed that her refund's good. She has, 50% charge in her deck and stuff like that. We'll go over her when she comes out. I'm not in a hurry to at the moment, though. Like, until they actually, like, confirm that. Because, yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but, like, it's entirely possible JP just goes like, you thought you were getting Kagetora? And they, like, punt her to New Year's or something, right? Like, I don't think they will. I think she's coming right here. But, like, I'll wait, basically, and see. Servant coins are the worst shit that added. 100% agree. Grail shouldn't be tied to coins. No, I'm okay with Grails being tied to coins, but only under the assumption that you could farm coins. I think that's, like, the system works perfectly if you can farm coins. Because not only do you have the, like, extra extension of goals for every account, but you also end up having this, like, did I not use the Mystic Code there? They also end up having, like, a drain, and that's your grail casting. The problem is you don't really have unused coins at the moment. Like it's literally just your low star coins that go unused. And so as a result, like, a lot of the system just looks weird to me without this ability to somehow manufacture coins over time beyond just, bonding stuff. Is Iatori? Yes. Kagetora's arts card is very good for an arts unit with an NP 2.2 base 4. Arts gain is strong. Yeah, like I said, I haven't actually looked at her stats. I know she's out there on Atlas, but still waiting on that Okuni banner. Universal coins win. I don't think you'll ever get universal coins. I wouldn't mind a, like, all class or something coin, but, like, I think the devs will stay away from it just to create this, like, annoyance. Like, if they ever allow us to farm coins, it's gonna be, like, on their rules type deal. It's tied to servant copies, I should say. Yeah, it's, like, getting it from Bond isn't bad. Getting it from servant copies isn't bad. It's just the fact that there's no alternative to either of those two, because those two are just naturally limited. The moment we can get more coins without rolling, will make the system way better. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the issue isn't really the system, it's the engine driving it, right? Like, it is the sources of coins that are the problem for everything else, not the system itself. The system itself is probably fine, with the very blatant exception being that rolling out FP just sucks right now, and nobody should have to do that. It's one of the worst things in the game. Like, having to just roll out millions of FP at a time in order to get your grail casting done, I think is stupid. And that if they're going to enforce that, they need to make rolling FP way better. Is Kagetora single target? Yeah, she's single target arts from what we can tell. Trying to get a copies pulled was the ultimate checkmate. I mean, it's a Genshin level of FU type deal, right? Where it's like, oh well, hey, guess what? You know how like for years buying or like getting additional. That's not the person I wanted that on. Getting additional copies in FGO just meant, like some more NP damage and nothing else. Oh, well, hey, now it actually impacts potential gameplay. And it's like, why? Why would you do that? Residente, thank you for the 41. Admin the ability to burn more of the roll results. Yeah, I think the problem that you have is you have people out there that have, like again, my NA account's got like 20 million plus, okay? This is also in part due to not rolling it out, okay? Like, I want to be clear on this. But, like, do you know how long that would take me to roll out? Right? Like, I don't understand their logic here. Because it is very, very easy within a lotto alone to farm out anywhere from like 2 to 4 million FP. Okay? Very easy to get that. And that alone right there would take quite a bit of time to roll out. So to me, it's like they just haven't done any actual research on that end, or like it's just not a priority for them. Yeah, basically, Skadi, Castoria, Koyenskaya, Oberon especially, right? Like our meta supports really made it so you didn't have to have high NP levels for anything outside of a lotto. And as a result, it was like, well, you could get high NP levels if you wanted, but it was mostly an enthusiast thing. Or like, again, you'd have people trying to do like mid turns and stuff, and it's like, well, clearly at that point, they're doing it for the capability of it, right? Like, versus, hey, it's a requirement. Like, they're doing it because they want to, not because it's required, versus, hey, it's a requirement. So it's really only in lottos that you ever see that. And even still, you could argue it's not a requirement even in a lotto. But the reality here is just that FGO for years, I think, had been a great game for free-to-plays because of that aspect. It was kind of roll your meta supports, get your singular copy, maybe go harder on a unit you actually care for. But outside of that, you could basically get the job done with your NP1s and you were solid. And so it made the game, in spite of the fact that, obviously people roll for more because they want more, but it made the game pretty easy to make it through, to play for most people. And I think it's only been with like more recent content, with the addition of 90++ content, that like the pressure is on to be able to do that. And I'm going to give you guys the advice I've given other people. So for instance, you weren't able to do that new raid that came out on JP, that final one there, in like 2 to 3 turns. Don't step down, do the 90+, because in most of those cases, the drop differential is not really worth the increase in difficulty. It's like 50% more difficult for like 1% more drops. It's really not worth it if your account can't handle it. And that, I think, is the big takeaway from all of this, is they're actually reaching a point where they offer content for whales, but free-to-plays don't need to do it. And I think that's where they're going to cause a little bit of a divide, and that's where they're going to have issues with design. Because I think they're kind of going to sit there and they're going to go, why are people doing the 90++? And then they're going to realize that they've actually overblown it and made it too hard. And I think they have realized that at times. We've seen where they've come out with a particularly hard 90++, that the next 90++ was not as hard. So I think they're going to learn something from these raids. In particular, I think, that defense buff is going to get something where they go like, yeah, maybe we don't do that next time. But I think that's the problem that they're running into over time. I do wish auto burn bronze the thing as well. For what? For servants? Yeah. I wish they just invented it where the game auto-locks the first 5 copies instead of the first copy. Auto-lock the first 5, then just auto-burn after that. I think that'd be perfectly fine. I didn't know Again had an acoustic version. I'm here for it. Yes. And Uso has a instrumental that you should listen to. It's very good. They learned something from the raid is that they need better servers. I mean, look, I think it's a good sign though if the game is still getting overwhelmed to the point that it crashes, right? Like, but it is what it is. I do agree with that. I think there's really no excuse at this point in time for like at this stage of the game needing better servers, but it just shows you that the game does have a good sizable like active and devoted population, and it is clear that we could still crash the server if we're all on at the same time. Problem is they're not really giving people a reason most of the time to be. Stevens ignores a rare niche in CEs and servants. Well, the problem was the health of the enemy was high enough that if you took a defense ignore CE, you probably didn't kill. You probably needed something like Black Grail. And if you took Black Grail and your unit didn't defense pierce, then you just had to, you know, tank the defense, basically. You just had to, like, try to blow through it. Like I said, I have a, what is she, 107, 108 or something like that, Squirtorian P5 on JP, and she basically took 2 NPs to clear the first bar and then a third NP to follow up. Very consistent. I didn't have to worry about anything. I used Tristan a couple times, and an NP5 Tristan with max rank skills couldn't do it. He had to 2-tap the bar. And if you didn't get lucky and get cards on the third turn there, because he had a hard time actually looping to a third NP, you were probably going to end up in some wacky ass like 7 turn or some crap. But like I said, to me, yes, there were units that could do it, but you needed to have high NP levels. You needed to be rather invested in them. And I feel like, at least for a raid, especially if you're not going to give a damage sheet, that's probably their biggest mistake. They could have made this raid as hard as they did and gave a damage sheet, and you'd be fine. But without that damage sheet, it just limited the unit choice quite a bit. And I think that's the takeaway. Like, they could have left the defense. Heck, they could have made the defense even stronger and just slapped the damage C in the event. Or they could just remove the defense entirely, and since there's no damage C, it still would have been pretty doable. A lot of you. Defense up was like 30% if I remember correctly. Yeah. Like, it's no one thing that you can point to. It's more just the combination of factors really limited choice. And that if you wanted to broaden that choice, because I do think that's a problem, right? Like, for instance, why didn't Tristan work? Why couldn't you 1-tap it with Tristan? Good question. I don't know, right? Like, they picked a Saber raid and short of abusing the units that are not single target archers, like MHX, MHXA, and Double X, that have, you know, overlap with that niche, it's going to be very difficult for a lot of those archers to actually deal enough damage. And that was pretty apparent in that fight. Not that you couldn't, just that, like, a lot of what people were recommending, because, you know, Trump's looking on App Media and stuff, and it's like, a lot of it's just, you know, like, Super Grail variants. And it's like, not everyone's going to have a Super Grail variant of everything, especially with the coin issue, right? Like, it all kind of feeds back on itself. I think way more of the active population would have a 120 Grail if the coin situation were different. I don't think people aren't embarking upon it because they don't want another goal. I think people are not embarking upon it because they just view it as impossible for them. And I don't blame them for that. Like, the excuse I hear all the time is people go, oh, it's a whale mechanic. And I'm like, well, it's kind of, right? But also not entirely true. It's more just about having the coins. And I think at NP2, you can already have enough coins for it. The issue is just simply that most people aren't, right? Like, most people are not going to go to those links. Most people are going to say, you know what, it's not worth it. I will wait until you fix it. The 2 types of events that love to give rate damage these, yeah. Moriarty could clear it. Moriarty could clear it, and you did have Buster synergy with that. That's like saying rolling gotcha ever as whale. Yeah, and I've had arguments with people over that before. People say if you have to gotcha for any unit, it precludes it from a free-to-play comp. And I'm like, no. I'd say the reality is if you have to go over NP1, it begins to preclude it from a free-to-play comp. And not that a free-to-play couldn't get NP2 of a unit, just that odds are they're not going to roll for NP2 of a unit. I think coins are more whale for 4 stars than 5 stars. 5 stars. I mean, you have a higher rate of pulling the 4 stars, but you get less coins per copies. Yeah, I mean, probably at that point. It's very much more so going to be dependent because, like, the issue at play, chat, is you only get 180 coins from bonding. So you don't even get enough coins from bonding to be able to, 120 someone. You need 300 coins in order to do that. This is why I also said, too, like, some people were saying, like, oh, man, Cat, I can't wait until they add Bond 20 so that I can get enough coins. I said, fuck that. I don't want to have to wait until I'm Bond 20, where my unit is, like, finally done and I can no longer bond them anymore, so that I finally have enough coins to make my unit, like, as good as it should be. Right? Like, that's a non-starter to me. Like... You should not have to wait that long in order to do it. There are 2 types of free-to-play, real free-to-play and free-to-play for flex, aka welfare, low star only. Yeah, I think, like, your average free-to-player ends up pulling a bunch of 4 stars and 5 stars throughout their time. And if they're smart about it, they get, at least a decent roster, right? Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Plushie, that, like, one of the dick things that they did is just not giving us access to the like all 5 copies of the Archer, because that would have solved it. So it's like they purposely tried to screw people with this raid. If this raid had simply occurred later in the event rather than earlier, you'd have had all 5 copies and you wouldn't have cared. Like, it would have been a very easy, solid, like, way to solve that raid, but they didn't. What the dog doing? The dog be sleeping. Don't forget, Ark still only has 1 write-up. You're right. I think she does. They skipped the opportunity this anniversary. Like, what, a 1-day farmable quest for all coins? No, I think if they're ever going to give you coins, they're going to limit it somehow. In the same way that, like, you guys see how we have storm pods, and they don't want us completing class score right away. Chat, I'm here to reveal something to you. The devs know that the coin system is borked. They know that this is not working and it's not attracting the majority of players to roll more, right? Like, I think they know that. They know that their end game goals that they put in the game are not working. They're not keeping people on the treadmill. And they see the results of that, and so they implemented class score, and they said, okay, how can we make class score better than, either of the coin system things like grailing to 120 or a pins? Well, the easy way is to simply limit how much you can get of them so that you are gated, so that you can't finish it too fast. You can't whale your way out of it. You can't grind even harder on it. There is a finite limit as to how fast you can go on the coin system, or sorry, on the class score. They're both CS. And as a result, I think that's why they designed it the way that they did. They did not want you getting it done so that there is a new treadmill out there that just will persist and always be there. And in that regard, I don't think the class score system's bad, but I think they could have implemented storm pods a lot better. And I think half the reason the storm pods are implemented the way that they are is purely due to the fact that blue apples are getting out of control on JP. Super Taxi Man, thank you for the 19. I thought they made the last boss saber intentionally for the welfare. Right? Like, it's always weird. I still remember that, like, the devs frequently shoot themselves in the foot. You can look no further than all the way back to the original CCC event. The first event ever to introduce alter egos. And not just one, chat, but three. 3 alter egos in one event. And how did they design the event? They made it nigh unloopable with like 6-turn nodes and, you know, mixed classes so that there were night classes in all the nodes. So like they made it the worst possible event to showcase an alter ego. Which just makes me laugh. Because it kind of just shows me that they really don't design the event to make their unit look better. And I guess we should be grateful for that to an extent. Because if they were smarter, if they were greedier, that's absolutely what they would do. They would be like, here's your new archer, and then like the best nodes are all saber nodes, and like they're custom tailored for that new archer unit. So that like that new archer unit just looks so strong in those nodes. That would be the smart way to do it. That would be how they would gain themselves the most money. They would just get people to actually get baited and roll hard in the gacha. But they don't do it. And it's really funny to me. At least all the bosses were, yeah. It just, like, I found that just to be a hilarious design for an event. Even here you talk about taking characters to Bond 15 for coins sounds kind of like whale talk for me. Yeah, the Bond Grails are the hard part. You do occasionally get them for free, Sarth. Like, I'd have to double check, but I suspect there's going to be one in the New Year's bag that you can buy with mana prisms. Because there usually is, I think. And then, like, JP did give out a bunch as reward. So I think, like, on JP, I'm sitting on, like, 30 right now. But prior to that point, yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think they were excessively rare. And I think that's part of what they did is they looked back at the end of all their COVID stuff, realized they hadn't been running as many events, and they went like, oh crap, we kind of need to give more rewards back to the player because we haven't run as much. Which is then hilarious because of how this year has been even less. Like, chat, they are having to run 2 events in December back to back in order to squeeze in 10 events this year. Prior to December, y'all had 8 events for the whole year. 8. I'm sorry, that's pathetic. Like, that's way lower than they've ever done. So, they've got to get better about that. Sarah's story was worth that farming hell. Yeah. Didn't they do that for Bradamonte's Xmas event? Yes. Bradamonte was good in the final node for her. That's also because they gave her like 100% damage bonus too. And I think the CE for that had starting charge. One hit, one turn invincible because the new SSR looper has ignore invincible in their kit. Oh, don't give them ideas. Calm down, Satan. Have you seen Godzilla X Kong new Empire trailer? No, I have not. Moving reruns is the worst idea ever. I think I agree with them that reruns took effort. However, I think they still served a purpose of busy work. And that the busy work and the ability to reminisce over the past event is worth more than dead time. That is to say, giving your player a reason to log in and do stuff to get cheaper than normal resources and remember their old events and why they liked them is valuable to a healthy community, to keeping people active in the game. Versus, yeah, we got nothing for you this week. See you next week. I don't think the latter is like I appreciate the latter because it gives me time off to do other things, but like I don't think it's good for the health of the community overall. Is it good that the devs don't want to do Bond 20? No. And the particular reason why I say this, like, so I've already told you guys, I can fix this way better than the devs. Okay? And you won't hear me say something so cocky most of the time, but I'm beginning to get to this point that I disagree with some dev decisions because I think they're bad, right? I think they're making decisions that are inherently selfish to try and make them more money, and I don't think it's going to pan out for them long run. So it tells me that they're taking a short-term approach, and that's not a good sign to me. But how I would fix this is, chat, do you want to go to Bond 20? If you don't, I already have the solution, but we can wait till Bond 20. So we can allow this to go to Bond 20, or we can do it right now at Bond 15. So, you know the mechanic in story where MASH spreads Bond to the rest of the party? Do that at Bond 15. That's it. That's simple. Therefore, the second you reach Bond 15, so let's take my Kagetora, not the support one, okay? My Kagetora is Bond 15, chat. Every time I use her in the party, the way it should work is not that I gain no bond. It should be that whatever bond she would have gained is instead distributed to the other party members. Therefore, you just spread it out and it gives you a reason to still use your favorite units. That's it. And if there's 2 units that are Bond 15, the sum total of their stuff is spread. Which, yes, would allow you to min-max this. You could take a party of all Bond 15s and then take, like, 1 unit who is not Bond 15 and then be able to, like, super bond them really quick. And I would say, I don't think that's that broken. That's still perfectly fine because it's still the same net bond gain. It just means there's no bond waste. That's it. Like, I think that's perfectly fine. But that'd be too good of a system. I know. Like I said, the whole reason they're doing it, it's the selfish aspect of, well, if your character is Bond 15, now you don't want to use them. And so you have to make this hard choice between using them and not gaining bond, which is your loss, or not using them and then you need a different character to supplement. So logically then you're going to have to go roll on one of the supplementary characters. That's why I say it's selfish. That is the whole reason that they're doing this. They've said they're not implementing Bond 20 anytime in the foreseeable future, and that they want you to use different units, which is fucking hilarious to me because in the exact same interview, they literally said they wanted to allow for players to be able to run double of the same character for certain comps. And that they didn't want to discourage that. And I'm like, those two things don't add up. So it is what it is. Yeah. The waste bond is the design choice too, probably. Yeah, they basically just want to say, like, fine, you want to use the unit, there's a cost now. Like, you don't gain as much bond. And if you don't gain as much bond, you don't get as much free quartz, and then that hurts you that way. Right? Like, that's all it is. So, like I said, do I think they know this? Yes. Yeah, I don't think these devs are stupid. Like, I don't think they can't think of a system like I came up with. But they're not willing to do it. That, I think, is the issue as a whole. Okay, so hold on. So you guys said this was a node of all nodes. Actually, yeah, it's basically just those two I need. So nobody has MLB of the actual drops at this point. But it's fine, because I probably need... God, what is that? Yeah, we'll do this. And chat, the reason this is a sticking point for me, I've already got Bond 15 Kagetora. I'm almost Bond 15 here. I'm also almost Bond 15 on Skadi. Like, they can go another year before they implement Bond 20. It won't stop all my meta supports from being Bond 15 by the end of this year. That's the problem I'm going to begin to have. Like, I think it's a really stupid decision on their part, and I think it's going to begin to impact, like, people's desire to do it. Also, chat, NP1 Kagetora going to be, or not Kagetora, Cuckoo going to be enough? Because that's all we got. Some carding, but yeah, better be carding on the right turn. Just roll another Castoria who magically is Bond 0, hope for a bugged copy, right? Yeah. You could try Buntoria? Oh, try. We'll see. I'll run this. Wouldn't your Super Lartoria be enough? I'll run this. It's Berserker, so I could probably get away with just about anything. But if I can get away with using Cuckoo, why not, chat? I want that. Yeah, it's the third one that has the Buster on it, right? Yeah. Here, let me turn song or music on, well, sound on for you. Oh god, I'm hearing that double. There we go. Hello, Josh. How's it going? Winning on the Tunguska Mystic code? Yeah. I'm finally to that point, chat. I'm very close to finishing everything on JP, and it feels nice. Oh, she should be able to cut it. Middle doesn't need stars. Yeah, I had to just remember which one each did. Like, you want the stars on the steroids. And it's not like the middle doesn't have a great effect. It does. It's just like, it's not as necessary. Also, was that a kangaroo, chat? Did I just see a kangaroo? Franco should be chaotic. I just don't remember if she's evil. I don't think she is. Chaotic good, yeah. So I can at least exploit chaotic against her. May as well, we have 79. Now we have 69, chat. Okay. So, how could I exploit this to my own advantage? Bunny would work. Right, like, it depends on how much damage gets done here. Actually, did I use the Mystic Code, chat? Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I'll probably keep using this comp because my Cuckoo is only Bond 6. My Lartoria and Buntoria, both of which would work easily, are like Bond 14. So if I can get away with using a different unit here, I think I will. And we have 89. Yes. I'm surprised they went with Chaotic Insane or Chaotic Mother. Mother would be an interesting one. I think that would be a very interesting alignment to give someone. What's your alignment, Mom? Nice just to give some of your other units some love. Yeah. Well, let's see here. Just see if I can showcase it for you guys. Oh no, okay, my bunny's only 11. I forgot. For a while, I didn't use her too much on JP. I will showcase this one. Bunny has a major issue, and she absolutely, at this point, needs some kind of an upgrade. Either an NP interlude, which I think would be the best for her, or they need to change her her Royal Bunny jump to be like the melt buff, where instead of having a delayed effect, it just occurs 2 turns. It occurs that turn and the turn after. And I think that would solve her major issue. But yeah, chat, I will showcase the raw power of the bun. So how do you think the shorter time for this lotto will affect it? You're just gonna have less time on the actual good node, so you're not gonna be able to farm as much. But that's really it. It's on a 6-turn cooldown, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, we'll just do it like that. I'm actually probably only gonna need Mama Raiko, or sorry, not Raiko, only Koei and Skya for this. Should we skip the extra node that uses currency for Christmas and just focus on ticket node? The logic there is if you don't need QP, you can do that node. If you do need QP, you need to be converting that box currency into more QP. That's usually how it works. It really just boils down to what type of player you are, and also whether or not you accomplish your goals with enough time to even farm said node. Yeah, there's ice from that extra node. Like, for someone like me, I got most of my ice needs already done, so I really don't have to farm it too much. But it really depends. Wait, was the trailer leaked? Were we not supposed to watch that? Was that actually... No. No, we're good. We're good, chat. The trailer was leaked yesterday. They posted the real thing themselves. Yeah, Rockstar already officially released it. Okay, y'all scared the shit out of me for a second there. Okay, so anyways, the whole premise about how Buntoria is going to work here, because you're probably wondering how she's going to deal enough damage for an 800k Raiko, is going to be this. We're going to go ahead and card lock right here. And then... will she kill? I think she will. Err on the side of caution. The problem is the YouTube live stream. I don't think I can get out of it. I prefer to be forced to play a different team as a mechanic at a tower event, not to be forced to gacha new characters. Right. You confident we're not getting 14 days? Yes. Yeah, now I am. What trailer? We watched the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer earlier. Okay. So this is the problem, chat. I have the delayed buff, so I don't actually get the bunny jump buff this turn. That's the unfortunate problem of trying to 3-turn with her. Alright, chat. Y'all think I do enough? Yeah, we got it. Since it's yours, Def? Okay, thanks. Bunny versus mom? Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you bring your girlfriend home to meet your mother. Colorized current year. And so the whole point to that was I had 100% crit bonus just from Buntoria herself. So like, you get quite a bit of capability there. Which, chat, now I want to point out the fact that like, now we have units in the game that are giving themselves 200% crit bonus. So like, Bunny giving herself 100 is no longer that crazy or broken. Like, this is why a little bit my stance is always you can give these units upgrades even when they seem like they're already strong, because they keep just ramping the power creep. It's crazy. Alright, let's try Lartoria. Oh, she's not as high on this server as well. So it must be my NA that they're both high. Lartoria said your son calls me mommy too, yeah. I finally finished my 124-star Umu. I'm now working towards 120 Cass Umu. Ooh. I bet that is quite the beast for solos, though. So this is at least a 3-turn I'm super familiar with. I'm also familiar with the Bunny one, but I had to think about it because I had to delay the card buff there, plus we got distracted talking, but usually 3 turns like this with a unit I'm familiar with does not take me very long at all, because I know immediately what to do in every single turn. Ah. Oh, I missed the button press there. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Go ahead and do the swap early since she's a true 50%. Wouldn't have mattered. It would have died anyways. You look at me, I'm the captain now. Exactly. To me, it was giving himself 100% for 3 turns since like 4 years ago. Yeah, that buff to his third skill is just nutty. Like, he's clearly got some insane generation as art. There's a couple of other units out there that if they ever were like that would also have a similar effect. Ooh, no card though. Spicy. I think we're gonna go the Lartoria card though. We did get both the Buster cards in the prior turn, so I should have expected it. There you go, chat. 956. It will kill. And I could probably do it with OG Artoria as well. Actually, chat, not gonna lie, the big win? That. The big win is not having to farm LB7 as much. Let's go. And I'm actually doing pretty good post-raid. So, like, I didn't completely complete the point ladder and stuff because I figured I'd have to do some farming. So you guys can see we're at 2.5 mil. We've got literally 2 weeks remaining. Okay, 14 days. So I got 14 days to get 500 mil. I had 1 million before the raid started in like the span of like 3 days. So ain't gonna take very long. Oh, it looks like I completed all this week's master missions without ever looking at them as well. The alligator pair? Yeah. Okay, so they added a bunch of stuff, so I'm definitely not done with shop then. That's gonna make this a little bit hairier. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's like the one thing I missed out on because I didn't get to farm all the raids that I wanted. The raids that I got to farm were not necessarily the most beneficial for me, so we're definitely gonna have to try. Because I had already started working on the monuments, and I probably shouldn't have. We'll go ahead and grab that. The rainbow yarn. Yeah, they added all the gold foes and stuff. See, I also think it's weird to not display these. Like, they physically left them out of the shop. It wasn't like, it didn't like blur out and say preparing, right? Like, they were not there in the shop. And I think that's kind of bad of them. Like, they're trying to actively hide shit from the player base now, and I don't think that's a good thing. If they did, they may have put it like all the way down at the bottom. But either way, I'm like, don't really need to be doing that, right? Like that's kind of my issue with it. Go ahead and grab all of that. Well, all of that I can. But it's pretty clear that I'm still gonna have to farm the 90++, so I may need to focus a little bit more. In that regard, the Kagetora banner, or whatever banner 2 is, can't come soon enough to give me some idea about whether or not I wish to roll. Because getting some of the craft essences should help my my actual in-event efficiency. Because I don't really need the points. I'm overkill on the points now. I just straight up need the actual, like... And by the way, chat, make sure you guys are actually rolling. It's free easy coins here. But, like... I kind of low-key need it at this point just to have an easier time with the shop. Right, Raiko is divine? Yes. Who's everyone hoping is Santa this year? Santa Lalter. I'll just keep hoping for that sort of stuff. Is it gonna be LB6 theme because Nasu keeps milking it? Yeah, the fact that Nasu's writing it is like... I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm actually not excited for Christmas now that I know he's writing it. I hope he writes it and he does something different. I hope he doesn't make a event that's just crazy long, right? But... yeah. No, chat. It's gonna be Santa Arcueed. That's why they didn't run her banner this year, Tee-hee. Nah. We pretty much know it's not gonna be Tsukihime because he said that already. Apparently Santa Draco. Santa Padoru I could see. And that would be at least a reason why they didn't give Draco another banner for now, but... I'm expecting a giantess Santa waifu. That's weird. How would she fit down your chimney? Or would she just destroy your chimney instead? Would releasing Santa Nero kill the Padoru meme? No. It's like, alright, yeah. Padoru is now pop culture. Like, It's as much so as like Saber and her eating burgers being a meme. It's as much so as like Emiya and Unlimited Blade Works and all of his swords being a meme. Yeah, it's beyond Fate now. Every single time Christmas rolls around, I see other people. Like, the most cringe shit that I see is like the Genshin people co-opting it. And I'm like, no! Out of all people, you should not be the ones to... Like, yeah, a little bit. I don't mind if they want to celebrate it as well, but like, honor the source. Stop ripping it off and then pretending like it doesn't exist. Like, I don't want to see a Padoru of a Genshin character and then, like, them completely shitting on Fate. That's just stupid, because it clearly means that you like it at that point, but you need to be edgy. How dare you stand where she stood? Exactly. I had no idea she was even a Fate thing, right? Yeah. Fate copied the Klee Padoru? Sure. Face people, Xmas is going to be the 3rd or 4th now. I'll be 6th sequel we didn't ask for. Yeah, that is what I'm worried. I don't think it will be, but that is definitely what I'm worried about. That is certainly a concern for me. So weird that he's writing the Christmas event. Wasn't he burnt out with FGO? No, I mean, I haven't heard him say anything like that. I think Nasu's whole entire sentiment in all of this has just simply been that, like, Nasu and chat. I vibe with this man. Okay? Like, this man is my brother. Because I completely get it. Nasu is too fucking busy. All the time. And man, do I understand that on, like, a spiritual level, okay? I do mean it when I say that, like, me being on stream is my relaxation time. It's the only time that I get to just sit here and, like, talk to people. Because the rest of the time, I'm like, like, just going, like, crazy. So... like, that's all it really is he just was too busy with too many different, like, projects hanging over his head. He was in over his head. He had done too much, bitten off more than he could chew. He was having to deal with all of Fate and FGO, as well as several of his other side projects that he liked, as well as his side authors that he works with, as well as Tsukihime on top of all of that. And then probably also overseeing the entire Witch and the Holy Night remake. So... I think all of that is just, like, the issue, right? Like, that's why for years Nasu was just like, I'm too old for this shit. But, you know, do I think he's, like, burnt out of FGO? No, I don't think so. I think now he's a lot better. Isn't that what VIP is for on non-streams? That's true. Want that animation. The tea party, but watch us have some crazy tea battles again. Well, no, you know, remember, chat? Don't you guys remember that the English once threw a tea party for the British? So, like, maybe that's what Nasu means. One of those tea parties. If he said tea battle, then it's definitely LB16. I mean, like... I'll say this. If it's LB6 themed in the sense of, like, Nocnaria, and, like, oh my god, we're gonna get Nocnaria, chat. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's gonna be Nocnaria. We're gonna get her actual form. No. It won't be that. But, like... we get another one? Yeah. Like... Santa Maid would be interesting. But anyways, I think the whole point is, like, Nasu's gonna do what Nasu's gonna do. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be way too long because that's what Nasu does. Nasu doesn't understand the word moderation. So, like, I think that's the thing I fear the most is like, hey chat, you guys remember when you wanted to like farm lotto? What if we put a visual novel in your lotto so that like you have to spend all of your waking minutes reading and you never actually get to play the lotto? Completely over budget? Yeah. I'd just skip that until after, to be honest. Honestly, I think I would too. I did that with a recent event, and I don't regret it. It was so much of a nicer, more like evenly paced way to do it, where like I woke up in the morning, there was no way I was going to be able to read everything before work. I spent my AP down, I skipped all of it, I spent my AP down, and then when I got to work, while I was working on the side, I had my phone propped up there, and I was just slowly reading it as I went through, and I was just like, it was so much more chill. So, a little bit for stuff like lottos, yeah, that is the way to go. Definitely make sure you go back and read them. They're always good, but like, goddamn, I have a major problem with how they design some of this sometimes. He wrote Karen's Valentine's event, and that year's Valentine's Day was short and on par. That's true. He hasn't done anything short and on par since then, though. Everything else has been gigantic. Visual novel in a series of challenges before being allowed into a lotto. Not what I want to hear. Santa Karen, yeah. I mean, they could definitely do stuff like that. Like, as for who could be a Santa servant, right, chat? Like, I know everybody's always still cope for Erish. I don't think it's gonna be Erish. I think, like, your Santa servant is gonna be someone that Nasu wants it to be. Just naturally, if he's involved in that story, he has a very clear vision of who he wants, right? Like, to me, Nasu doesn't write a story unless he's, you know, dictating everything. So Medea? Oh no, sorry. Okay, I thought you said Medea. You said media. I was confused for a second there. I thought you were like trying to bring up some old servant that I had never heard of. Bit of a Zet, please, right? Plus Tamamo buff, easy? No, it's not happening. You know it's gonna happen one day? No, it won't happen. Listen, Strum, you've already had New Year's, anniversary, and summer, okay? Can you really ask for more at this point? Santa Gramps would be amazing. Any other variant of Gramps would be amazing. Mycopium is Mihoyo collab with Christmas Lotto. That would actually be really cool. Like bringing in Mihoyo and making it about the Holy Night and all of that stuff. I think that would actually be really awesome. It'd be a good way to sell the VN. It'd be a good way to like collab, and it'd be a good way to get their units into FGO. Like I would actually be a-okay with that. That's probably the best idea I've heard yet. The Spoon Hassan from the Memorial movie? No. Okay, look, chat. You guys want a Hassan? I got you. This is the only Hassan you'll need, okay? You need him to rescue you. You need King Hassan Caster. The life killer. Or would you prefer Lancer? Lancer Summer, King Hassan. Needs Summer Gramps, right? But I guess if you really want Christmas King Hassan, chat, we can give it to you. Okay, here you go. He's also a Lancer because he uses his lance, the Christmas tree. Like, I would take this any day. This would be freaking amazing as a concept. Doko, that would be also amazing. Who's the artist? That's a good question. I saw these originally when they were on Pixiv. Let me see. Wait, there's a Dan Burrow link. It is Ari. Right here. Nasu gonna rewrite it all after seeing this? I hope so. I hope Nasu watches stream. Because if Nasu watches stream, then I can perpetually berate him that it's Artoria, you fuck. Just for that reason alone. Santa Gramps is coming to town menacing? Yes. That is too cool for them? I agree. As Canadian Nasu, I'm offended. Good. My goal is to insult Nasu in all of his variant forms. Nasu just unfollowed and blocked you. I know. It's okay. He wasn't following to begin with, at least as far as I know. Maybe he was following me on his alt account, right? Like, I suppose it's possible. Chat, also, we will be watching the, we will be watching the Game Awards later this week. Because, one, they're on, and two, I don't think we're going to have Lotto that day. I think it's going to be the night before the Lotto. And three, you could sign up to co-host it officially, so I did. Like, I was like, oh, sweet. Now I don't have to worry about getting DMCA'd for this. The Farce Awards? Yeah, we get to watch live as they make fools of themselves. Like, chat, I saw yet again, the Player's Choice is out. I've been voting on it, okay? Let me see if I can find it again. But God, they tweet too much stuff every single day. Yeah, so the Player's Voice vote is out right now. You have a day left to vote. Chat, I need all of you. I need all of you to, no matter what you vote for, just vote for something not named Genshin Impact. Because, I'm sorry, this isn't even going to be, like, hatred directed at Genshin Impact. This is hatred directed at Joff, who actually runs this shit. Genshin Impact should not be up for Game of the Year for the Player's Voice like 3 years after it came out, when it hasn't really done anything. Like, yes, it has come out with a new zone. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It does that every couple of months. Like, I'm sorry. It does not deserve to be here. It does not deserve to be in consideration with any of these others. And honestly, my next point would be to get rid of Cyberpunk because it's a DLC. Nothing against it, but simply the fact that it is a DLC. I do not believe Cyberpunk should be up for Game of the Year because of that. So that's kind of my issue. It won last year. Yeah, and the whole reason, chat, that it even has made it to this round of voting, the whole reason is simply because Genshin promises people primos if it wins. So players are literally being bribed to vote for it. And I think that is stupid. So do me a favor, vote for Baldur's Gate 3. It should freaking win. If you really want to rig it, do that. Cause like, dear God, this is ridiculous. Not enough primos to bring me back. Yeah, it's a paltry sum, but the players all go out and do it. And my favorite is I saw a Genshin fan mocking someone being like, people think we're just doing this for the primos. And I'm like, yeah, you are. Because like literally every other comment is like, primos? Hell yeah. Like straight up, you see it all throughout the comments. And I'm like, don't even try to act like you're not. That's 100% of the reason. I think it's illegal to do that. They still do it. And it works. So like I said, I'm not even trying to shit on Genshin Impact, the game itself. I am pointing out, one, I don't like that miHoYo does that, but two, that like it's the Game Awards' fault. They allow it. They should just straight up not nominate them and say, if you're gonna do that, you're no longer nominated in this category. That simple, right? Like, and like each one of these games will get out there and like put out a tweet and encourage their players to go vote. I think that's fine, right? But I think when you're actively bribing your players to do it, and you're not even a current game, you have been running, you shouldn't be in the nomination. And that I think is the biggest issue that I have with how the Game Awards is run, is the Game Awards doesn't exclude things from categories that logically should be excluded. It lets all of them in, and it does it purely, I think, because their backs are getting scratched by the people who run those games. So, it is what it is. Make quid pro quo illegal by the show rules, right? Yeah. And, like, that's kind of the issue I have with all of them. It should not be the case. So I really don't want to see Genshin Impact win, especially not in a year that had such a diverse lineup. Like, we've had some bad years. Genshin Impact winning in a bad year, sure, whatever. Genshin Impact should not win this year. It should go to anything other than it. I'm sorry. Like, it deserves it by far the least out of these 5 games, and it's not even close. I prefer Zelda just because I enjoy it more than BG3, but that's just me, and that's fine. All I'm saying is don't vote for Genshin. Please, dear God, do anything but that. BG3, in my personal opinion. I love Baldur's Gate. You guys know that. I think I've gotten the most gameplay out of Baldur's Gate that I've gotten out of a game in like 3 or 4 years. So. We're really dumb and I don't like co-op because of it. Yeah, I know that feeling a little. I couldn't stand it back when I played. Who plays Genshin? There's still a ton of people. In fact, Genshin won out over Star Rail, which was really surprising to me. But I wonder if that's because with Star Rail, they weren't sure whether or not they would get the bonus, or maybe Genshin is still more popular than Star Rail, which is wild to me if that's the case. I'd take a Genshin Game of the Year for 2020 over TLO2 any day. No, that's a blimp situation for me. A blimp situation is where you hope neither team wins and that the blimp crashes on the stadium instead. And I don't actually mean that, but like, Genshin probably has a bigger player base. Genshin has a very big player base. Is it bigger than some of these other games? Maybe. I think the issue at whole is just that, like, one, it probably has a lot of overlap with these games. Two, it has in-game currency that incentivizes you to vote for it, like we already pointed out. And then I think 3 is just the fact that, like, usually, like, say your average, like, Legend of Zelda player is not going to be, like, super involved in trying to, like, you know, be active in the gaming community necessarily. Like there's tons of casual gamers that don't bother. But it should not have even been capable of making Game of the Year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should not be included in the nominations. I think that's their biggest issue as a whole. Their nominations are shit. Like, we've pointed that out year after year, that, like, they nominate things for things that they have no business nominating them for, and then other things get snubbed. Like for instance, we pointed this out, that, like, Hogwarts Legacy didn't get nominated for any of it. And I know people don't like the game. I guess I'm just different from those people because I can set political, like, affiliations and stuff aside. Because for one, the creators of the game disavowed said person and did not involve themselves with them in the slightest. And two is just the fact that I don't think it really has any place in video gaming. I think when you snub a game like that, it tells me that you're not voting for games based off their merits. Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom definitely deserve it over Spider-Man 2. To me, these two are largely the same. They both are built off of a prior game where most of the IP was established in the prior game. They are just very successful sequels that manage to recapture the glory of the first game while building upon it and making something better. I have no issue with either of these winning. Don't forget Sifu, the fighting game. Yeah, I feel like Sifu got basically snubbed in the prior years. I also think the game should have to come out in that year to be eligible. I agree. I completely agree with that. To be game of the year, you need to be released that year. To me, right? And I would go so far as to say what it should include is anything after the cutoff. So I think their cutoff is November 17th. So anything from the prior year that released on November 18th onwards, so it wasn't eligible for the prior year, should be included in the current year. Like if you released December of 2022, you should be eligible for this Game Awards. But outside of that, yeah, no. I think that's the only exception, and that should be it. Tips to beat Lost Belt 7. You gotta level up a lot of your units. That's the biggest issue. Where's Starfield? In the player's voice, Starfield didn't make it. I think Starfield made it through the first round and didn't make it through the second round. Something like that. Do you think Samurai Remnant can be nominated? It could be. It wasn't. That's the problem. Aria Wonder didn't make this list. This is round 3 of voting, guys. So, like, the prior rounds did have that stuff. Actually, I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see the prior rounds. Yeah, it's not letting you, like, click on anything or anything like that. Because they immediately get rid of it so that you don't see it. Or, like, should be, yeah. Mario Wonder got plenty of nominations. I've seen people saying it doesn't deserve to be nominated, which I don't agree with, right? Like, I don't think you can take a look at a game and say a game doesn't deserve to be nominated because you don't like the game. I think as long as the game deserves to be nominated because it fulfills the qualifications, it should be. And that is the issue with Genshin Impact, is it does fulfill their qualifications. And the reason why is if you go up to the facts, I think it's oh, yeah, here. So they talk about it in live service games. Game Awards recognize that many games are ongoing services that evolve over time with new content, features, and improvements. Game released in previous years are eligible in all award categories. No! That's the fucking problem. They should not be allowed. That is their issue 100%. Like, it absolutely should not be allowed if it's been a live service game for Game of the Year, right? Like, that's my problem with it. They basically just go ahead and say, like, hey, are you a live service game? Keep paying us money every year. And chat, I'm telling you, that's what it is. Like, 100%. And here's how you know. How do I submit a game for consideration? There's no formal submission process for the Game Awards. Qualified developers and publishers can contact the Game Awards to receive the list of voting outlets. Why do they need the list of voting outlets? Is it maybe because you have to wine and dine them? Otherwise, it should be centralized. You should contact them for consideration. They put your name down on a list, and they submit the list to all the voting outlets themselves. That way they control it. It's 100% corrupt. 100%. I don't know why the heck they can try to claim that it's not. Like, they outright imply that there is a need to do so. Is there an entry fee? Strongly believes that no game developer or publisher should have to pay to have a game considered for nomination. Thus, there are no entry forms or fees required. All games are automatically eligible for nominations. There's no submission process. All games are automatically eligible for nomination. There is no submission process. And it's great, too, because they even say right here, there is no formal submission process for the Game Awards. But you can contact us. Like, their FAQ almost basically incriminates them, and it's fucking hilarious to me. No fees required, but you can grease the wheels. Well, you'll notice what they didn't say here either, right? Struggle believes that no developer or publisher should have to pay to have a game considered for nomination. In other words, sure, we'll nominate you, Ted. That's fine, absolutely. I'm not voting for you unless you pay for my lunch, but, you know, it is what it is. Like, only the most successful developers are going to win. So we can submit Fate Samurai Remnant next year when it gets DLC? Sadly, yes. Like, to me, what they need, and I want to be clear here, chat, they need a live service game category, and they need a DLC category. You need DLC of the year. Okay? And you need live service of the year. They kind of have live service as a category, but they also don't. And it's freaking hilarious. Technically, you can nominate FGO every year. Yeah. Look, Cat, if they can't even pay for my lunch, why should I consider giving them an award? And that's the truth of it. That's how you know this shit's rigged. Because if you're not prominent enough, you don't get considered for any nomination. Not just Game of the Year. You don't get considered for any of their categories. They just never keep things to it. Oh, the live service category has been like the same 5 games. Like, it's freaking wild. It's basically, I think it's always League, Genshin, Destiny, trying to remember. Yeah, Final Fantasy 14. And Apex, is it? Like, it's basically all those. Every single time. Warframe better than D2? Yep, but Warframe never gets nominated, so ask yourself why. Fortnite? Yeah. Like, it's just really fun to watch that and go, like, you can list other prominent things, and then you go, well, why didn't they get nominated? Like, that's really intriguing. And then you realize that's why. Like, it's just the voters themselves either didn't think they warranted a nomination, or they didn't care. Because evil is money. Yes, money is evil. The jury deciding nominees are all industry insider types too, if that makes sense. Yeah, 100%. Like, and that is why these things exist. They exist that if you're part of the process, you get kickbacks. It's the same way that it works with politicians, right? It's just a wealth enhancement mechanism so that if you want your game to win, you have to get your game nominated. And that is what it is. Turn-based is more fun to me, and I like the characters more. Yeah, I don't blame you. Like, I think, especially if you're someone that plays FGO, I think Star Rail's gonna absolutely call to you more than Genshin would. But it is what it is, right? Like, and I'm gonna say this, like, should Star Rail have gotten there in place of Genshin for the player's voice? Yes. Yes. Like, the fact that Genshin is here and Star Rail isn't is dumb. Star Rail is newer. It's like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where popular vote is like the sub 1% of consideration. The way they have stated it in the past, and I think they removed the wording because people were getting onto them, but the way they've stated in the past is that the judges decide the vote. Okay? The judges decide. And only if the vote is tied do they then pull in the player's choice as the tiebreaker. Only then, if it's in a deadlock tie. The thing is, chat, there's like over 100 voters in this. It's never going to end in a tie. Never going to end in a tie. So it's just like, I'm sorry. Popular vote is like 10%. I think that's what they changed to saying. I'm not sure whether or not they actually use it, right? This is so BS, IMO. Yeah, that's why, like, I watch it just to watch the, like, shit show that it is, right? Like, not because, like, oh man, it's, you know, like, I'm always curious to see, did the industry insiders pick the same thing that I voted for? Other than that, if the thing that I voted for didn't win, do I care? No, I just assume they're idiots. Like, that's basically how I work. It's not even that, too. Like, I'm gonna say this. To me, neither of these two should be nominated, okay? So, like, the outcome here isn't that Baldur's Gate should win. Do I want Baldur's Gate to win? Yes, absolutely I do. But my stance on this is that if, like, and I know this is the player's voice, but if, assuming this were a actual vote by the jury themselves, if one of these three wins, I think the jury did a good job. That's how I usually look at it. It's not what won, per se. It's what shouldn't win. And if something that shouldn't win wins, that's where I go like, yeah, no, they're idiots. Like... Then they had it removed, too, when people got onto them for it? Yeah. Trailers for upcoming stuff is fun sometimes. I heard apparently they used to do the whole they used to do the like title card that said world premiere. Okay? And apparently they are stopping from doing this. And they never gave a reason why, as far as I saw. The only reason I can suspect is they're trying to get rid of this because that was, as many people commented, their notice to pay attention. And they noticed probably massive viewership spikes whenever World Premiere would display on the screen. And so they're trying to force people to watch the whole show. Because I'm sure people just, like, have that shit on mute on, like, a side screen. And they just play their game. And then they see World Premiere pop up. And like, oh, okay, let's turn this up. Because now they're like, oh, it's a trailer. It's just really funny to me that that's the case. So it's like, it's wild that they had to get rid of it. I might just watch trailers afterwards if that's the case. Yeah, and that's the hilarious thing. It's the same thing as the Super Bowl, right? So like everybody watches the Super Bowl because you get the the funny commercials. And so always after the Super Bowl now on YouTube, you can find like a supercut of all the funny ones. So like that's usually what keeps happening now is people that aren't interested in this actual like sporting event just watch the supercut. Oshapal, thank you for the Prime. Jack, can we get some love for our newest sub? Enjoy your emotes, especially your Christmas variants of them. Out of the first couple I've only ever watched for the trailers, yeah. So like I said, I always love watching the terribleness that it is. We'll watch it Thursday because, like I said, I don't think you're gonna get a Lotto announcement until tomorrow now at this point. Maybe you get it at midnight tonight. That would be the last chance of it appearing on Thursday. But I'm expecting Thursday is going to be a relatively dead day, so we'll be watching the Game Awards. It's more fun to watch someone else watching the show. Yeah, you guys can come watch my commentary about how stupid the judges are being. We can have active discussions about why the thing that they voted for should not have won. Do the resets in an hour and a half? Yeah, no, they'll do announcements at quote unquote midnight is usually when they do them. It's either like 2 p.m. or midnight. And I guess now, maybe due to daylight savings time, it might be at 11. I don't know. I just nerfed Genshin players' Primo Gems by voting for Tears of the Kingdom for Game of the Year instead. Thank you. You're doing God's work, White Flags. Yeah, it's the Starship Troopers meme. I'm doing my part. How can I get stacked on pure prisms? Just do the story. Story will get you like all of the pure prisms that you can get, really. The problem is you can only like convert them into 100 of every material. So you are capped. Service guarantees citizenship. Yes, that's right. And when you're a citizen, you become an actual person, finally. I look forward to hate watching the awards. It won't all be hate. Like I will definitely laud some of the games that win. But it's the same thing that happens every year. I always make a big deal out of this. Shame the Pure Prism shop doesn't refresh. I know why it doesn't. It doesn't because they don't want you to like never have to farm ever again. They do want you to have to go do your free quests. But it would definitely be a lot nicer if it didn't, right? Lotto is coming. Best time for experiencing QP farming. Yep. Kenshin is more important than Genshin right now. Wait. You talking about Waisagi Kenshin? Or are you talking about... Oh, no, I'm thinking of Kenshi. There's a game called Kenshi, I think. A very interesting game. Starship Troopers is such a fun movie. It is. It's like... I always love the, like, very tongue-in-cheek and, like, parodying type of videos where, like... You know, there's already a very established genre, and they just make fun of the genre the entire time. Primers too, yep. But anyways, chat, I don't have, like, anything else to do in FGO at the moment, so we're gonna do the analysis that I had promised you guys. This one should be a relatively quick and easy one. Because I promised y'all a Skadoodle analysis. Not Skadi Ruler. OG Skadi. I haven't done one on her in years. Like, I have the initial video from when she came out, but that was a long time back. And so we're gonna talk about her. Thankfully, with regards to Skadi, I don't have to give you damage numbers, so that's really, really nice. The only thing I do need to go look up, though, is when she actually gets the strengthening. It's during the event itself. Oh, wait, this is an A. Hold on. Did I go to the NA list? I always do that. Does this just come out with the launch of the event? Does anyone remember? Or was this, like, unlocked at a point? Let me see. Yeah, double check for me real quick. Because I remember talking about it. I remember it was quite the interesting thing, but I don't remember why they decided to. Another one more Skadi talk. We'll talk about Summer when we get closer to her. Whether Skadi's worth spending pulls on it, I can't guarantee pity. Yeah. Actually, we can pull her up for comparison's sake. Speaking of Summer 9 prediction list win, oh god, dude. KP is getting so hard to predict, and the reason they're getting hard to predict is because they're bucking all of their trends, but they're not bucking them by, like, you know, going like, hey, we're not gonna, like, keep that trend and we're gonna do something different this time. They're bucking them by being like, hey, we're gonna do something nobody expected because for our own rules, we weren't allowed to do that. The snow sucks, yes. It comes with the event. It was on the 8th. Okay, sweet. It's wild to me that we're already almost to this point. It feels like I remember this being just yesterday. Which is kind of nutty that it's been 2 years since that point. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 years. It feels like it's been a year. Okay, we are on the right screen, just making sure. Hey guys, my name's Khadroth, and today we're going to be talking to you about Skadi. Again, Skadi is a very good unit in FGO. She is one of the quote-unquote meta supports that I like to refer to. She's a unit that I think just about everybody in the game should be rolling for. Now, a lot of people have called that into question of late because we now have a Summer Skadi variant, and also due to the whole nature of where Quick stands in the meta compared to Arts and Buster. I'm going to address all of that for you here, so buckle up because we've got a lot to go over. Thankfully, we don't have to go over really damage numbers too much here, as instead, Skadi is going to be one of those support units. Now, again, to start off with, like I said, the big thing to think about with regards to FGO is how to best and most efficiently use your courts. Usually this boils down to rolling most of the meta support units, as in doing them, they're the easiest way to provide quality of life to your account, make your time in the game easier, and really support your waifus and husbandos the best that you possibly can. That's the biggest argument, most compelling argument I can give you for actually rolling these units. If you don't get them, the units that kind of rely on them to be powerful will naturally be gimped. And this is where I think part of people's perception of Quick becomes flawed over time. A lot of people have avoided rolling either of the Skadis, and as a result have managed to not really have good Quick supports out there, so that they naturally just think that Quick units aren't as good. The reality is not kinda there, but they're at least a little bit closer to the truth. It's not that your Quick units aren't good. They're absolutely phenomenal, especially if you can support them well. The problem actually lies in how many support options there are for the Quick card type and the sort of lack of adaptability of those options. That is to say, you pretty much have the two Skadis. There are other filler units that you can use, but they're not specific to Quick. And as a result, if you want any adaptability, you have to use those other filler units. You don't really have an in-card type actual support that can, say, split up their charge, or again, maybe try to protect the party a little bit better in terms of sustain. And that's sort of the issue that we run into. Now, Skadi does have a upgrade that's coming here with the Christmas event. It should be out the day that the event launches. Hopefully, I will have this video out in time for that. But again, it is a very good upgrade for her, but it was a contentious one when it came out, and we're going to talk about why. The big thing you guys need to understand with Skadi is that, yes, even in spite of her summer variant still existing, she's still good, and you probably still want to acquire her in spite of that other variant. And I'm going to explain why here in a minute. First, though, let's start by going over her kit so that you understand Skadi more and can better make the decision for yourself as to whether or not you wish to roll in the current year. So, starting off right off the bat, we can see that she is a caster. She's got 10.7k attack. This isn't a super phenomenal stat. In fact, this is rather low for a 5-star. But it is a support, and for what it's worth, we're probably not going to want to card with her too much if we don't have to. That is to say, the better use will be to try to use the damage carries actual cards, because they will be super buffed into all hell, and so you're going to want to focus on using them whenever possible. That being said, there are some scenarios where you're going to have to use the cards, so having a higher attack stat would have been better for that, but it's not the end of the world. She does at least get to trade off with 14.4k HP. This is definitely a lot more robust. Definitely going to make her a lot harder to bring down, as she's going to have that extra padding to allow her to take some of the extra attacks from other units. Now, the big thing you're going to want to watch out for whenever you're using any sort of caster support is any scenario where they're going to be vulnerable for multiple turns, particularly against berserkers or riders or alter egos or anyone that would deal effective damage to her. So that's going to be the thing you're going to want to watch out for with Skadi. Now, with her attribute here, she is Sky attribute, pretty much because she is a divine unit. Her star absorption is only 49, but again, she is a caster, so that's pretty much what we expect. And her star generation is a decent 10.8, so you will be able to generate some stars with her in spite of the fact that she is a caster. Also, because she is somewhat quick focused, you will have some additional benefits in that regard. Her NP charge rate is actually not bad. It's 0.67, a little bit over average. And again, this is going to be somewhat helped out by what she has in her deck, but we'll talk about that in a minute. She has NP charge defense of 3%, and then a death rate of 30%, but in a weird case, even though this is an above average death rate, we can probably ignore this. And I'll explain that as well as we're going through. Her alignment is chaotic good, so you're not going to have to worry about too much other than probably that chaotic part of her alignment as something that would be exploited quite a bit by enemies. Her gender is female. Her basic traits are Divine Spirit, Divinity, Humanoid, Immune to Pigify, Sovereign, Non-Hominidae Servant, so she's one of the few that are non-hominidae, Servant, 7 Knights Servant, and weak to Intimate Elish. So she definitely has a whole laundry list of traits, and some of them are rather odd, particularly as I pointed out, the non-hominidae one. Her deck here is a non-standard support caster deck. That is to say, at the time that Skadi came out, this was somewhat weird. For our prior support casters, they had pretty much all been triple arts. Skadi, on the other hand, comes in with 2 quick cards. And the one thing I can point out about this is that, yes, if you had the 3rd quick card, it would be better for her to form triple arts chains easier. And that is something that would really benefit her, as she does actually have an arts NP in spite of her quick focus. That is something that I believe has served her well over the years, and it serves her a lot better than an upcoming unit like Martha Caster, who has a quick NP that is a support NP, because it just means that Martha Caster can't use her NP as part of an arts chain for some free and easy charge. So in that regard, I do think Skadi was designed a little bit better, and this definitely helps out. But you can see at least that her hit counts here are all stellar. That is to say, her arts card is average at 3 hits with the 2 arts cards there and a decent NP gain rate. Her buster card is 1 above average. Her extra card is average. And then her quick cards are 1 above average as well, helping them to perform. So again, actually generating stars with Skadi, not going to be the worst thing in the world, especially if you have to use those quick cards. Again, though, this is going to be one of those weird scenarios of you really don't want to have to card with her, but if you do, at least you can just understand that her carding will not be bad. It will at least perform pretty adequately. We can start off with her first skill here as Primeval Rune. This is going to be quick performance of 3 turns by 50%. You are going to want to lore this skill. In fact, on any of these meta supports, you pretty much are going to want to lore all of their skills. There are some exceptions, but usually this is a safe bet for a use of one of your lores. Again, the reason why is not only is this going to be damage output, this is also going to be refund. It's going to be particularly vital refund on quick loopers that need to actually manage to 3 turn. The reason for this is because quick doesn't refund a whole lot compared to arts. So any amount of refund that they can get their hands on is naturally going to be more valuable than it would be for, say, arts, which generally has a lot of overkill, generally has a lot of extra sort of refund lying around. Quick, on the other hand, has to scrape just to get to a, decent point. And as a result, most of our refund with quick units is somewhere in the 20 to 30% range, with the occasional rare unit doing 50% or more. So this is where having this skill lord is going to be somewhat imperative, just to make sure that the thing holding your unit back is not you yourself. And again, you can see here, this is also going to increase their critical damage of quick cards for 3 turns by up to 100%. So it's a very solid modifier here, quite a bit of crit damage, and certainly if you're using double Skadi, as you would in a case of trying to form a loop with her, getting 200% quick crit damage is going to be really solid if that unit's generating a lot of crit stars. Because again, it's not uncommon to see a unit generate over 50 stars in a Skadi comp with double Skadi supporting. That means anytime they're going to get cards, they're going to be crits at that point, and if they are quick cards, they're going to hit very hard. It's going to make it so that your NP level doesn't matter nearly as much, and you will just be able to follow it up with a potential crit. The problem is going to be the RNG reliance on those cards, so logically, if you don't have to, you don't want to have to rely on carding after an NP. But it is there as a bailout option should you need it, should you low roll or something like that. So again, it's a very, very solid skill on a 6-turn cooldown. Her second skill here is Shivering Blizzard B. This is going to end up being an ability to reduce all enemies' defense for 3 turns by 30%, and then reduce their critical attack chance for 3 turns by 30%. Now, to explain this, and the way you need to think about it is, think of this like a charisma skill. So instead of giving 30% attack up, she gives 30% defense down. The problem is, compared to charisma, charisma is on your units and thus gets carried to each subsequent battle turn, each wave that it's on, versus a defense down is only going to apply to that wave of enemies. So once you kill them, they're gone and you're not going to get any other benefit. This is where most of the time we see defense downs getting used in one of 2 places. They're either getting used on the final turn to amplify damage to allow for, again, more output on a high health enemy that you need to finish off the node, or they're going to get used earlier in the node, probably on turn 2, but maybe even potentially turn 1, to allow for more overkill hits to get a slight edge in refund. This is usually done when a unit is just on the cusp and doesn't quite have enough refund to make it work in their current setup. You can squeeze out the occasional 1 to 2% more points of refund by putting defense downs on that wave. The problem is, you're not going to get more than that in most cases. So it's going to be very rare for people to actually utilize this to get a bunch more NP gen, and thus, honestly, it's a neat trick to have in your arsenal, but don't rely on it to actually bail you out from a unit that's nowhere close to their refund. That's where instead Brute Charge is going to be your friend, and just actually physically forcing a 3 turn by having enough charge from the supports. But again, this is sort of the adaptability of this skill. However, again, it would just simply be better to have instead had a charisma. So this is one of the maybe downsides we can have, and we'll compare her to Summer Skadi here in a bit. And then the critical attack chance reduction is just going to be nice, as we already talked about. It's a 30% amount, which is a significant amount, especially with double Skadis. This is going to make it so that it's very hard for enemies to crit. This does give your comp a little bit more survivability that it may otherwise not have had. But again, you have to be careful against taking any sort of quick comp against effective damage units against them, because they could just get carded to death if you don't have Skadi's and P ready. This is also going to be all on a 6-turn cooldown, so relatively low and easy to get back to should you fail a 3-turn. And then her third skill here is the ability to charge one target's gauge by 50%, also on a 6-turn cooldown. I don't need to tell you anything to really tell you how good a skill like this is. 50% charge is one hell of a drug. Just having it alone is sort of the hallmark of a lot of these meta supports. They usually have the ability to charge the party, or at least someone in the party, by 50%. And that is the takeaway for Skadi. It's what made her the dominant force in farming for years. And it wasn't really until Kagetora came out that that changed. So realistically here, this is still a very good skill. The problem that we have is now we have a little bit of power creep on the JP side of things, such that, well, 50% charge is fine and all, but having the ability to charge 50% but split it up into different increments is honestly more beneficial, and it could help potentially some of those quick units that end up at those large charge increments like 20 and 30% on their refund. So that's where, if she had the ability to break this up, it would be better, but certainly this is still a solid skill and not one to be overlooked. You're absolutely going to want to lure this skill as well. It's only the second skill that you could really potentially get away with not having to lure, and I still recommend luring it just for the damage reason alone. Her passive skills are Territory Creation EX, amplifying her arts performance a little bit more, helping out that NP gen. Item Construction A for some debuff success rate, again, whenever you're trying to land that defense down or that crit down. And then Goddess Essence A, increasing her own damage by 250 flat damage, so nothing too much. This is just going to get added to her card since she doesn't have a damage dealing NP. And then increasing her own debuff resistance by 25%, making it harder to debuff her. Definitely going to be a lot nicer for challenge scenarios in that regard. Her pin skills are going to be mana loading, anti-caster attack damage aptitude, and extra attack finesse improvement. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mana loading is going to be the first thing to go for, and you're absolutely right. I think this is a no-brainer on Skadi for a couple of reasons. One being that unless we utilize her third skill, her 50% charge, on herself, you're probably not getting Skadi to her own NP easily. So having starting charge will at least alleviate that. Sorry, wrong thing there. Having starting charge will at least alleviate that in order to make it more possible to get to an NP. But it's still going to require some sort of carding or overflow charge from another unit. That would be like mixing Kagetora with Skadi and having Kastoria's 30% party charge flow on to Skadi. Combining that with the mana loading 20% buff there, and that would be 50% on its own. But again, it really just depends, and those sorts of comps are not necessarily the most synergistic, so it depends on what you're trying to do. Still, mana loading would be the first thing I would go for. Her third skill here is anti-caster attack damage aptitude, and you might be thinking this is useless, but the reality is, with meta supports, they're almost always going to be in your party. So having any of the other pins besides the mana loading is still good, even if it's like the worst possible thing. This could be anti-rider attack damage aptitude, and it'd still be somewhat useful in the odd scenario that you had to card with Skadi. That is to say, if she's in your party that frequently, it's not the worst thing in the world to just have some kind of bonus. But again, still the weakest of the three as far as I'm concerned, because the extra attack finesse improvement enhances not only the damage that your extra attack does, but also the star gen and the NP gen, and Skadi's going to want that if you're having to card to get her to her NP in time to save the party. So yeah, in that regard, I think the extra attack finesse is also going to be useful for you, and probably more useful than the third append. Then we get to her Noble Phantasm. It is a support NP, it's arts, And you guys can see it basically starts out as an increase to the party's critical damage for 3 attacks, 5 turns. One, I don't really care for the limitation here because it didn't need to be a thing, but it is what it is. I guess the devs felt like they had to limit Skadi so that she couldn't have too much capability with her NP. And that is where some of the meme kind of comes from, that Skadi doesn't actually have an NP, because most people don't value it. Most people see it as not that good since you can't get to it easily. The reality is, if you're someone that's stuck with her as your only meta support, or she just happens to be in your party comp when everything breaks down, she can save you from certain death in some scenarios. And as a result, that's where I kind of have a different opinion than the vast majority of the community on this. Whereas they like to meme about how useless this is, I'd actually point out that it has saved my bacon in numerous runs that probably I never should have been in that situation. But simply having it is good. So again, you're going to get the party critical damage here for 3 attacks, 5 turns. Solid. It's what actually scales with the NP level. This was one of those units where most people said, well, I don't need an extra NP level of the unit then. And I think the devs saw that, and you'll see that in a minute. But again, then she grants the party 1 of evasion for 1 attack, 3 turns. This is actually the thing that I think should have been upgraded. I think it should have been upgraded to 2 attacks, 3 turns, but I guess they didn't want to make her broken, so they just kind of left it as is. But again, it would have been a lot nicer to have a little bit more survivability, and that is where I can kind of hear some of the complaints about how useful this NP can be, because only a single attack means the enemy boss could just NP you, immediately your dodge is gone, and then if they're like a just really hard-hitting boss, like a heavy-handed berserker or something like that, you're just kind of looking at them just waltzing up and maybe 2-tapping you with the remaining cards anyway. So that's where having more than 1 attack or the ability to scale the number of attacks would have probably been nicer. And then from there, she grants the party instant kill immunity for 1 time 3 turns. It's not the best, but this is why I said that her death rate probably didn't matter, because you do have a way to survive instant death attacks by virtue of her NP. So even though it's only the 1 time, the good part about each one of these effects is that they're multi-turn, particularly the evasion and the instant kill immunity. That if they're not consumed right away, you at least have 2 other turns in order to be able to see if you can get them to actually come into play. So it doesn't immediately lose its effectiveness, and that definitely helps. From there, it reduces the party's damage taken for 3 turns. It's an overcharge effect, and it's a 500 damage cut all the way up to 1500. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say that I don't think damage cut is the worst, but I don't think this is a very strong overcharge. And the fact that you only get 1000 more damage cut at 500% overcharge is pretty disappointing, honestly. So yes, this could have actually been better. Now, this skill does get, upcoming at the beginning of the event, her Noble Phantasm upgrade. So actually seeing it get improved, you can see they actually just straight up add a new effect, and that's that it increases the party's attack for 5 turns, no limitation. I'm not really sure why, but that tells you flat out that they knew that this NP needed more. I think this is a little bit short-sighted on their part, but I'm gonna give them benefit of the doubt until at least we see what, supports the future brings. Because as it is right now, it's not easy to get Skadi to her NP. Thus, it's not easy to rely on this buff unless you're starting her out with something like a K-scope or something like that. You're just not easily going to get her to her NP in the course of a 3 turn. It's going to take, instead, parting over multiple turns or starting charge or overflow charge from her allies, you name it, in order to get this off. So it's not the easiest thing to secure. But it is a strong buff, and they add it to the NP level scaling, where before it was just crit damage, they add the attack to this as well. So now it's also going to factor in, and that's why I say I think the devs caught on to the fact that players weren't rolling multiple NP levels of Skadi, because the scalability of her NP didn't freaking matter. The overcharge effect was rather piss poor, and there was no reason to have more than 1 rank of her, basically, since the effect was kind of meh. Now, what they do, though, is not only do they give that, and it scales from 20 to 30%, which isn't the best of scaling, but it's still free, so it is nice to have. But they've also increased the amount of critical damage you get from the prior iteration. If you guys remember back to this, it scaled 30 to 50% for 3 attacks, 5 turns. It's still 3 attacks, 5 turns, but now it scales 50 to 100%. So the crit damage scales a whole lot better. And to me, this is actually the point that they got a little crazy, because she already had potentially 100% crit damage just off of her first skill. Combine that with double Skadi and it became very quickly 200%. So adding in the extra crit scaling here, yeah, if you have NP5, you could be looking at 300% crit damage from 1 NP and 2 Skadi skills. That's starting to get, like, disgustingly broken in terms of the amount of power that could deal. So, yeah, I'm really surprised they went with this instead of just going with more attack scaling or something like that. But it is what it is, especially since you can't get Skadi to her NP very easily anyways. So, again, I wish they had taken a look at the overcharge effect, or maybe, I don't know, put one of these down here as well. I think that would have actually been better, but it is what it is. It's not a bad upgrade, and the reason I said the jury's still out on this and that I'm kind of in a wait-and-see approach is because they could release a quick centric support at some point that can split charge, so that there is party charge in their kit, and that would maybe allow a pairing with Skadi to be able to naturally get to an NP. If such a thing were to happen, then all of a sudden, this buff actually starts to look a whole heck of a lot better just for the attack alone. So, like I said, at the time, didn't look like the best of buffs, didn't look like they knew what they were doing, but who knows? We'll see. Maybe in the future. So, that's Skadi's kit in a nutshell. And I told you guys I was going to talk about sort of the comparisons to Summer Skadi and what that means. Well, again, Summer Skadi is a unit that's going to be coming out next summer for NA. She's going to be kind of sandwiched in between quite a few really good units there. We've got Proto Merlin and Summer Ibuki coming out right then. So a lot of people are going to find it difficult as to which Skadi they should roll on, if any. The reality is you should roll some Skadi so that your quick units don't just immediately suffer if you have to use them. But the reality is, Summer Skadi is in some ways better. And I'm not going to make this a full Summer Skadi analysis. I'm just going to kind of go over some of the differences in the kit. For starters, Summer Skadi has a Noble Phantasm that deals offensive damage. It's not really a support NP in that regard. So it's already different from normal Skadi. And it's a good NP, but still, it's something to pay attention to, because if you need the survivability for your quick units, Summer Skadi is going to be that answer, but the reality is you're probably going to need to pair that with someone like, say, Castoria or Merlin or someone like that that can provide more staying power, more sustain. So again, we get to Summer Skadi's first skill here, and you can see it's the exact same as her caster variant. Summer Skadi, though, instead gets critical damage of Buster cards. This is why they're not the same unit. This is why there's benefit to having both. Because what they were doing with Summer Skadi was opening the door to Buster cards. And you might be thinking, why? Why would Quick want to use Buster cards? Well, in the case of a lot of Quick units, you might see a pretty standard Buster, double Quick with single arts type of deck. And at that point, if you have to rely on carding, but you have both Skadi and Summer Skadi, you have additional crit power for both Quick and Buster at that point. Sort of helping out 80% of your deck. So definitely a nice thing to have that applicability to multiple card types for insane crits. The problem with this is, and the one issue that I have, is that this is still a quick buff, so you're not going to get necessarily the same power from using a Buster card as you would, but Buster cards are already more powerful than quick cards just naturally, so I'd say it's a pretty decent addition. Her second skill is also going to increase the party's attack for 3 turns by 20%, which if you'll remember, I talked about the second skill as if it was a charisma, but restricted to 1 turn. So you can see the 30% defense down here for Caster Skadi compared to the 20% attack up for Ruler Skadi. Well, that seemingly gives an edge to Caster, right? Wrong. The problem is here, there's more to this skill, and that's that it gives party quick and buster performance for 3 turns by 15% each. So even just looking at it objectively and saying only the quick matters, at that point, you're still, with the quick and the attack compared to the defense down, you're still getting basically an additional 5% in modifiers. That's not factoring in the buster. The other upside to this is the charisma, the attack up, and the card type up, the quick up, both get carried to additional waves compared to OG Skadi not having that with the defense down. Also, the quick up provides some additional refund. So there is that as well. You could say that this absolutely tilts the scales in Summer Skadi's favor. I will say that this certainly helps. Summer Skadi definitely to me seems to be a more modernized unit, and I think it's just due to the age of OG Skadi at this point. But again, this still doesn't preclude OG Skadi, and you're going to see why. She also gets that 15-star regen there, and then her third skill. Her third skill is going to grant one ally in P gauge by 50%, so it's still the block 50 charge. Still, Lasingle didn't learn that lesson. If they had made this split charge, though, that would probably make Summer Skadi the de facto choice, and you would never really look too much at OG Skadi. But still, I think this is something that they could have done better. But it's also going to increase the critical star absorption of buster cards for 1 turn. So whenever you use the charge skill, it's going to soak the stars to that target's buster cards. That's interesting because Summer Skadi gives the buster buff there for crit damage, but otherwise she only gives 15% buster up in her kit. Not too much, really. So logically, you'd still probably want to go into the quick cards, but it really just depends. Summer Skadi doesn't have the quick crit buff. So that's where you need both. That's where combining them is going to allow you to apply this to more cards and be good. Again, remember that 80% of the deck thing that I talked about. That's where having both Summer Skadi and Original Skadi makes sense for you. It's also going to be a crit star bomb. And to me, the amount of crit stars you gain per turn on this second skill, rather worthless in a quick comp. You usually have so much quick up that you're going to be generating a ton of stars. There may be the occasional unit that can't, but again, for the majority of quick units, this is a non-issue. What I find useful, though, is this. The star bomb when you use the charge skill. And the reason why is because this is giving you stars on turn 1, potentially, before you've started your loop. This can be really good for scenarios that you just go, you know what? I'm just going to card. And that, to me, is the big takeaway of what Summer Skadi does. Summer Skadi is an addition to Original Skadi. She is a side grade to Original Skadi. She's a little bit better in some aspects, but what she's trying to do is make carding more consistent for quick. And she does. It's still not perfect. You're still not going to want to have to rely on it, but it does give you the opportunity to search for a turn in which you could kill the enemy wave by virtue of critting it to death rather than trying to NP, either by virtue of staggering cards or again against a single enemy where the cards just line up and you get a free, easy, cheap kill. That's what I think the whole premise to Summer Skadi is in relation to Original Skadi. So, to the question of, do you need them both? You don't have to, but it's excellent if you do, and I can give you another reason why. There are scenarios in the game where you can't take a support from your friend. Thus, having both Skadis means you can still double Skadi in those scenarios, with a third support maybe to help out. But if you don't have both copies of Skadi, you are now gimped and only able to take one Skadi. Now, maybe you could take an Oberon to the back line to help make up for this and another 50% charger, but that might not work with some quick units. That might not be enough refund. So that's the problem you're going to run into. Having both is always going to be a good thing, because they're not completely replacing each other. They're complementary to each other, and that works so much better for them. So again, I do think Summer Skadi's slightly better, but I do think original Skadi is still very good. So as to whether or not you should get them, I'm going to say you should. And should you get original Skadi, even though you know Summer Skadi is coming out? Yeah, she's still really solid. Even if you manage to get Summer Skadi, she's still going to complement her. And let's be honest, you might just decide come next summer that you don't really have the actual quartz to spend on her. Spending quartz now may be to your benefit. Just be careful, because while we do have this banner here for Skadi, we also have Koyanskaya of Darkness coming up, and we also have Koyanskaya of Light getting a repeat banner. So for those of you that missed out on Koyanskaya on the first run of her at Anniversary, you're going to get another crack at her after New Year's. So that's kind of the thing you need to be wary of, is where you plan to spend your quartz over the next year. Plan accordingly and it'll help you out quite a bit. But again, my advice is to try to collect all the meta support units that you can. Benefits you in the long run. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. If you guys did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Always happy to see more people joining. But also, let me know what you guys think about Skadi. How would you guys improve Skadi if you could? The original one, not the summer variant. And will you guys be rolling for her, or will you guys be rolling for summer Skadi either, for that matter? I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts, and I will see you guys for the next video. Alright, there we go. Best analysis ever. 4.3 out of 4 stars. Okay. I'm obligated to roll. She's one of the supports I'm missing. I think it's always a good idea to collect all of them, because then you can never regret not having them. You can only regret not having a support. You never regret having the support. Who needs any of them? Just quit the game and wait till Oberon shows up? Yeah, no. Missing her on my free-to-play account? Yeah. If someday they release another kit of Skadi with Arts Crit buff and Arts Star absorption for the quick assassins with 2 Arts too quick, we will have Rainbow Skadi meta. I mean, you could already form triple Skadi, and I didn't really talk too much about that because, while you can do triple Skadi, usually doing triple Skadi is more of like a luxury. It's like, hey, I don't have to use Oberon. I can just use triple Skadi. Otherwise, in most cases, the third Skadi not worth as much as another Oberon. But that's because quick units have shit in P game, and that's something I think that would actually benefit if they did an upgrade for Skadi. Is like tack on like 20% in P game. It would make a world of difference to certain units, and it would make me laugh. And be nice for a third support, right? Oh, I don't know why that blacked out. Alright, chat. It's Badooter's Gate time. We are continuing on with the evil playthrough. Cry? What do you mean cry? Why are you crying? Why are you frozen in ice and crying, Bob? Oh. Why is that in the background? Avalon beat me? Oh, well. You gotta be pre-prepped. Avalon knew it was coming. He anticipated it. He thought like me. Villain art cat. Yeah, so for those of you guys that haven't seen, we started an evil playthrough this weekend. I had already started it before that point. I had done just sort of the legwork, but we got mired in trying to like keep Karlach alive but fulfill Will's quest, and we bugged Will out in the process. We finally got it to work at like 2 a.m. Sunday morning. But Karlach is dead. So there's that. It was the whole thing. It was. Congrats. So the reality is, chat hasn't realized I did it for 2 reasons. And I've only revealed one of those reasons to you guys. And one of the reasons, she went into the forever box, literally she did. One of the reasons was because basically I wanted Will's robe. And the reason why is because Asterion looks magnificent in it, right, chat? Looks absolutely magnificent.
Is it done?
I still feel you're losing Will this playthrough. What would you know? You know nothing of my sorceress ways. Okay, now the real problem is I have to get everybody over to the other side of the steam bath here. I also haven't figured out why when I cast Create or Destroy Water, it electrifies things. So, like, check this out. Look at that. Look at it. It's electrifying the steam cloud. And I don't know why. He doesn't have anything that electrifies anything either.
So is it done? Great God, Helm. Allow us peace in this plane and beyond. Teach us care when we would be restless. No time for Danny. No one stopped me yet.
There we go.
My faith will guide me. Still breathing.
And there we go.
Despite everything. Great God, Helm. Allow us peace beyond. Can't afford to stay idle.
Okay, we got her up.
So it is spoken, and so is it done. Great God, Helm. Let's try this way.
You know, I realize there may be another way around. Have I been being dumb this whole time? No, okay. I was not dumb. I was only quasi-dumb. Okay, so we got her up there. I'm gonna send Asterion over. There's a reason I'm doing it this way, chat. Trust me. Magic, you don't have to question it. I'm just confused as to why it electrifies it other than the thunder, maybe. Lightning and the thunder.
I wonder what the next move is.
So you can see I clearly need a rest. Chat. Why rest when I can die?
Keep a blade close.
Did you kill everyone at this building? No, why would I do that? What do you think I am, evil?
For a dull moment. Hells. I need to hold on.
Oh good, she got up there without taking damage.
One true way.
It is hilarious watching them just break their ankles.
Need to find a way forward.
Did you at least take the hot half-elf clothes for this murders? Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what?
Don't touch me.
Oh, action, not reaction. Objective noted.
So it is spoken. Great God, help. Allow us to use in this and just
Oh, thank God I succeeded. I was about to have to, like, go into turn-based mode because it just could not. It could not
Let's
fathom.
move. Can't slow down.
great God, help.
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
Okay, jump to your
I
death.
have a lot on my mind. And well, in it.
Watch your back.
My faith protects me.
Okay, we made it, chat.
Still alive.
All of us made it. Now I can rest.
Well,
So I knew I was gonna take damage from doing this, and that's why I didn't rest. There was, like, basically no point. Hope you're doing well tonight? I am. I'm preparing to murder Hobo. Okay, I think, yeah, I did already have the interaction with this guy. I basically passed the check, I told him the password, and he was like, Sugoi, you know our secret password, where no kids are allowed. Okay, we're bringing the adventuring party in as the bunch of stooges that they are. They're now here. We're now going to pause.
oh, enough waiting.
Well, not pause,
I
but,
crave
like-
blood.
There is work to do.
Well, you'll see.
A long way to go still.
Is that blood?
Okay,
Never mind.
so. We're gonna save. We're going to...
Just out of view.
Time for discretion.
If everyone else minds their business, I'll be fine.
Something smells tasty.
Something does smell tasty. Wait, what?
Need to keep focused. Keeping my head down.
Okay, he dead. I was like, what the heck? I like the whispering ASMR from characters, same. Okay, add to wares. God damn it. My character is so over bloated on everything. Send to Lae'zel. Send to Lae'zel. Okay, now we go down the hatch. So, like, basically he's a free NPC kill. And when the game gives me a free NPC kill, chat, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it unless I like the character. Part of how we are evil. Okay? Like, sometimes you just gotta be evil. It's not even about being a murder hobo. It's just about being evil. Like, it's nothing personal. Oh yeah, give me all of that sausage. I realized how that sounded right after I said it, but I can't take it back, so it is what it is. Oh yeah, more sauce. It'll be clipped for sure. Nah, chat doesn't have balls. They don't clip things anymore.
Something good here, I hope.
Chat makes Jay do everything. Ooh, even more. This is basically just a bunch of free loot, and what we're doing is we're coming down to the interim outpost. Basically like a bunch of secret black market traders. Eee. Okay, pick up and add to wares. Pick up and add to wares. How's it going, Ahado? I guess there's nothing to loot in there. Go loot that. In the interim, let's send all of that to camp. They literally held so much food. Oh, a boneless jungle ham! Cat, have y'all ever tried boneless jungle ham? It's delicious. That watermelon? No. They're two very distinct, completely different things. Yes, it's watermelon.
Look at that.
Dude, I don't want whatever. There. Alright, secret stairs, chat. So I actually already did this part. Whoops. Also, chat, Shadowheart likes us now.
There is work to do.
So
Shouldn't
crouching.
have wished to live in more interesting times.
Okay. Oh, that auto save.
On my way.
Evil lair, yeah. Ash doesn't exist. He exists. He's like a wizard. He exists precisely when he wants to.
That's far enough. What's your business down here? Answer honestly and maybe we'll kill you clean.
Okay, so chat, like I said, I already did this, but I had to reload because the lady up top left and didn't give me the reward. So I went, got the reward from her, and came back to this place. Now, the thing I find really hilarious is he's already called out to me and seen me, but one of the options I can take is to just stealth and slip back into the shadows, like the Madagascar penguin. Be like, you saw nothing. And basically just pretend like they didn't see you. I think last time I went with intimidation. And I'm pretty sure that Shadowheart liked it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Still. Takes steel to swagger in here. If you're half as tough as you think you are, I might have a job for you. We've disarmed the traps. Come down.
Alright, sweet. So that just means I get to keep on looting. Thankfully, the idiots disarmed the traps. Okay. Definitely need to see... Like, they need a, like, scroll book, honestly. Like, something where, like, you just put all of your scrolls in it. And then you don't have to deal with it. Okay. Perception failed. I think
Keep your
it's because
distance,
there's...
darling.
Perhaps.
What's next?
Like it's will be done.
Oh boy. Well, we're gonna save.
Light on my feet.
Gonna say they did say that they disarmed them.
What's that smell?
It's you.
You don't want to keep Zaris waiting. Believe me.
Okay, so I don't really think I did anything with the Zentarim last time.
What's that?
What's that?
Oh, that's a lever, and it's a red lever, which means if I touch it, me get in trouble. Oh god, a camera. Yeah, y'all ever just steal paintings of elegant nobles?
You seem a nice soul. I'm glad we didn't have to kill you.
What?
Wonder if the fist pay better than this soul.
You. The way you handled Zaris. You're not one of her thugs. You need to buy me.
What? Maybe, but you don't look very expensive.
Not to you, perhaps. But those of actual taste might disagree. For the return of her prize artist, my patron will measure her gratitude in gold. Tenfold whatever ransom these clots try to squeeze from you, I guarantee it.
Who's your patron?
As far as you're concerned, she may as well be the coin maiden herself. But there will be time for questions later. Please, speak to Brem. I need to see the sun again.
Okay.
Well, don't you cut a fine figure? Want your portrait done? If you have the gold, my pet artist will make you a most heroical likeness.
I do cut a fine figure. I'll take one.
You've got an eye for quality. Every noble in Baldur's Gate will be after one of these. Tell him I sent you. And if he stains it up with his sniffling, there'll be hell to pay.
Boxes. Have you spoken to Brem? He'll let me go free?
I've got enough problems without adding you to
I
the
took
list.
you for a better sort than these.
You got coin?
Yeah, all right, fine. But who are you? Don't touch anything.
Okay. I won't touch anything.
Something I can help you with?
I want to
Fancy
trade.
So do I.
Okay, so what do you actually sell? Pale pink dye, dye remover, brown alabaster, black azure, baby blue and gold, white and scarlet, and green leaf dye. Honestly, chat, I didn't use any dyes. I don't even know if I have any on me.
Can't show you the good stuff.
Push button. Take me by the land. To the hand. Understand. Feel. Huh. Oh, yo, you can dye the cape. Wait, can I dye my hat? Hold on, chat. Okay, now I'm disappointed. That did nothing.
My patron rewards you.
It let you do it, but it did nothing. So definitely save before you die. Cad's team is not covered in blood. This is a rare sight, right? Especially considering I just killed a dude outside. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm wearing a hat. Do you think that's what it is, chat? Is whenever I have, like, a helmet on, I don't actually, like, suffer? Oh no, never mind. I think my character is bathed in blood.
One day, I'll
Oh wait,
take a
hold on.
break.
I actually want to sell to Brim.
Something I can help you with? Fancy that? So do I.
Because I do have a ton of shit.
Like its will be done.
Yeah, it's never good for monks to wear armor, right? Like Mordred's simplified.
Can't show you the good.
Open up.
Besides the bleeding obvious, he misses the sun. Needs light to work, he says. We had a chat. Turns out he needs his eyes more.
Lamps, lads! Sealed lamps! Don't want open flames where we're going. Not many can talk their way into a Zentarim outpost.
Did I really
I could
talk
use
my way?
someone with your skills. Interested in a job?
That depends. What is it?
Some of our people are missing. More importantly, so is their cargo.
Have you
Find them.
considered that I may have killed
Keep them alive if you can. Failing that, just bring that shipment back. Unopened.
I already found them. They're dead.
God damn it! What about the shipment?
I'm still
Good.
looking.
Reckon you won't find it here, though.
Oh god, what is that quest reward gonna be? Cause like... Find the missing shipment. Oh, she'll ask you to bring it to Baldur's Gate. Hmm. I'm not sure. Because, like, I do get a nice crossbow if I give it to her, but I think that's
You've
only
already
if I
brought
hadn't
me
opened
bad
the
news.
chest.
Tell me you've got something better this time. You've killed me. You've bloody killed us all. Lads!
What? I guess because we opened it. But, like... What's up, Natasha? I guess. The only thing I really want to see.
Taste my fury.
Oh boy, reckless attack and we missed. Can't wait. They landed it. Okay. Wait, do I still have the iron flask? But I didn't even keep it.
Let's turn someone inside out.
Okay, so she burned the only way up.
This will do nicely.
Mage. You're actually the most damaged person here.
Take two.
Yep. I was gonna say, I don't know how you're able to hit me from directly below, but okay. Thank God we didn't fall prone. That just means the Stereon will, though. That was an excellent, excellent play. Bravo! I like... Like, what?
On my way.
Shall we cut and run?
That's not worth the key point. Actually, save. Yep. Okay.
Take you. Moving.
I could Bardic Inspire, but I'm not even sure I'm gonna keep this.
Let my name be known.
Okay, so she has the Iron Flask. She doesn't have the crossbow, though. But she does have quite a bit of loot. So maybe if I can get out of this without losing anyone. Maybe worth. Here to take notes. I see spoilers. I wouldn't even say this is spoilers. Like, you'd have to be in this exact set of scenarios.
Time for some bloody work.
This is good. Spill some blood.
Oh, there we go. He died. I should have toppled him first, but... Dude, the artist is still alive somehow. Oh.
Got to focus.
Oh, that is very bad.
Take your back on your feet. On I go.
Dude, point blank, you actually hit that? I'm not sure whether or not to be impressed or disappointed. There, now you can't smoke powder bomb me.
At the ready.
I swear, tactician mode must have some penalty. If anyone's played on tactician mode and knows, please let me know, because like, I swear your attacks do not hit with the frequency stated. They hit way less. And it's kind of wild to me. You have to talk to her before you get the chest? Yeah. You basically need to, like, pick up the chest and bring it to her. It's the act of opening the chest, because the way the whole, like, Zentrum mechanic works is they're basically like, yeah, we smuggle stuff, like, for you, and we don't want to ever, like, open it. It's like, the second you look inside, that's when you fucked up. So it's a completely blind smuggling racket.
Gods above, woman! I said buy me! If you didn't have the coin, you might have just said. In any case, I am a slave no longer.
Nope.
And your money troubles are over, rest assured, for you have saved none other than Oscar Fevras.
Excellent. When will I get my reward?
Fear not, friend. My patron will make good on all my debts. My betrothed, I should say. Assuming Lady Janeth still wishes to marry me after our little, falling out.
You recall a recent scandal. A patriarch of Baldur's Gate who wished to marry a commoner.
I did not run away. A date was never set. There were complications. Before my fame, my patron, there was another woman. One I planned to spend my life with. But when Lady Janeth offered me a future, well, it felt only right to mention my past. Right, but unwise. I was forced to retreat into the countryside, to paint and to clear my head. To choose, I suppose.
A truly horrifying dilemma. All I care about is getting paid.
I wish I could harden my heart, sir. Still, you're right. We have the matter of my return to consider. Say, I don't suppose you could spare some coin, could you? Ease the discomforts of the road some.
I'll give you serious discomfort to deal with if you don't get going now.
Right you are. Just asking for a little help, was all. Until Baldur's Gate, then.
He's way too smug about that. Also, like, why didn't Asterion like the fact that I told that guy to go fuck himself, basically? Normally, Asterion's all about that. What was that face? Listen, that's just that man's smug face. He knows he was trying to get money from me. He knows that he shouldn't have. And yet he persisted. Alright, I got some smoke powder barrels, chat.
Can't give up now.
Okay.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
A toxin recipe.
Here we go.
Hell yeah. Think the Zentrum are gonna care that I murdered all their associates?
Assume nothing. This'll do. Worth examining.
Fly. Oh, it's good to know that some of that stuff survived the fire.
An efficient path. What to do?
I don't think the smoking pipe is worth.
Maybe I need more pockets. Eager for battle.
Wait, was that not a good, viable... No, it was. Okay. Had me worried for a second there.
No time to rest.
Cinda Lazel. Lazel. Mares. Okay, so it doesn't look like we're encumbered now, at least. What's interesting is I could have sworn there were more guys in here than that. I'm beginning to think that we didn't go over there and do that, but... There's more to explore in here, but I will not bore chat with the looting of the place, which I can do off stream. Chat, we're going to end it here for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. We had good, productive discussions. You guys got to see the surprise. Those of you guys that didn't, the surprise was Kaito Fuma completed Aurelia's redone character sheet. Done in its totality, finally. Yeah, I'm gonna find us somebody to raid. I see a Mr. Pahathon VT on. I'm gonna raid him. We haven't gotten to raid Faye in a while. Instead, it's been the other way around. Faye's gotten to raid us, so I will see you guys over on that end of things. As always, if you guys enjoyed, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube, and join the Discord. We're always happy to have you guys there, as we have a great community, over 1,000, actually I think it's over 2,000 members now. Very active, very discussing of everything, every topic you guys can imagine. So, like I said, always happy to have you. In the meantime, go give Faye my love, and I will see you guys later. Also, you YouTube mother lovers, stay classy. See you guys for the next. Ooh, Lotto this Thursday. Oh, there we go. Yeah, well, that's as anticipated. So that means we'll be able to watch the Game Awards while we do the Lotto. But have a good one, guys.